God, I do love McKenna.
It's growing on me.
It's good with the ice.
It's a spicy bourbon.
It's a spicy bourbon. Yeah, it's one that I probably wouldn't have liked if I got it too early in my bourbon tasting, like Four Roses.
Yeah.
That's how I was with E.H. Taylor. I
Really?
hated it.
Oh yeah, I hated it when I first
We
tried
were-
it too.
I'll save this story for the podcast.
Okay.
It's a good E.H. Taylor story with Manny.
Well, honestly, we could probably jump right in. We're already talking a little bit. So here we are for, what's that? Talking to the mics? Oh, yeah. Make sure you're into the mic. Yeah. So you just want to be pretty close to it. You don't want to be too far away.
If you touch it, it's okay.
Yeah. It's really easy to
I
move.
think this is one that Jeff was on, so I don't want anyone near it.
It's really easy to move if you just use this. You can kind of direct it how you want.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. Hey, we'll get it. And worst comes to worst, we can turn up somebody's gain.
What was I mean, it was hilarious. The beginning of the last podcast, I have no recollection of singing that song.
Oh, really?
And it just came. I mean, did you intentionally mean to come into the beginning of the podcast?
That's how I set it up after I heard that part. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly. That's where I faded it and everything. Doobie doobie doo. Couldn't have been better.
Your theme song.
Yeah. But we're back for the second episode of the actual titled Bastards of Bourbon. And I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, actually. And I want to know how long you've been drinking bourbon.
My name's Patrick Spiess, and I've been drinking bourbon since Jake Bolger's graduation party.
And that's a great story. We'll get into that a little later.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, you are 21.
Yes.
That way the cops don't show up at my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, well beyond 21.
My name is Michael Manfresca, but a lot of people know me as Manny. I started drinking bourbon when I started hanging out with Steve. I mean, I didn't
so
have much
weird.
of a
Common
choice.
denominator.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Well, he started me on Scotch, and then eventually I think we saw each other for the first time in a while at Valley Wine Cellar, and you were like, oh, no, it's bourbon now.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Much to John Decker's dismay, although I think he's coming around a little bit like, oh, all right, I'll try that. I'll try this.
Yeah, well, we did make sure we got him a bottle of Buffalo Trace, and then I think I gave him a bottle of Eagle Rare, too. Is that the other one I gave him?
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
Okay, yeah, it's one of the two.
He's keeping it from Jacob.
Yeah.
He knows it'll be going, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Jacob's just going to start showing up with his own bottles, being like, you guys can't have these.
Yeah. So I like to refer to Manny and Pat as old souls, especially when it comes to bourbon. They've maybe only been drinking it
3-4 years.
3-4 years.
Yeah.
But know a lot about bourbon, have had a lot of different kinds of bourbon. I think they both have educated palates, which is why I thought they would be great additions to the Bourbons of Bastards.
Really
Honestly,
talking me
the
up there,
bastards
Steve.
of
I'm a little
bourbon.
worried now.
Honestly, I think it would even be fun if, their palates were a train wreck.
Yeah.
I think that's still entertaining.
Yes.
Interesting.
They very well could be.
Yeah. I think train wreck episodes are going to be fun, like when we go like bottles under 20.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, people are going to love seeing our reactions to that.
Right.
But I'm very glad you guys came. I think how we're going to do this is we're going to do 2 episodes a month. One episode is going to be with Jeff and Tommy, and then the other episode is going to be with different guests here and there.
Yeah. So you guys are the first guests, other than Tommy and Jeff, which are going to be monthly regulars.
Yeah.
So be excited.
I'm honored.
Yeah, let's do a little toast.
Already out.
Oh,
I think he likes his bourbon.
oh, he likey.
Hey, would you like some more McKenna, sir?
Sure. I'm not going to say no.
So before we get into what we're tasting, I real quick want to tell the story of Pat bringing up my son's graduation party. Of course, in a typical graduation party, you're extremely busy as one of the hosts, and Pat probably can shed more light on it because he probably remembers the story better than I do.
I don't know about that.
But I'm gonna give you the Cliff Notes version, and
So the guy that just started drinking bourbon there
Yeah.
is going to have a better recollection than you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I didn't drink nearly as much bourbon as he did that night, just because of being so busy.
Yeah.
But so I had a bottle of Jefferson's, and I believe it was the Special Reserve.
I
Yes.
thought it was the Oceans.
I want to say just reserved.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I had the Oceans yet, but I'm not sure. And a bottle of Angel's Envy Rye.
It's so sweet.
There were other bourbons floating around, but those two were kind of my, like, these are my really good bourbons. But I was willing to share. What I didn't realize is that both bottles were going to be completely drank in a matter of about 2 hours. Now,
wow.
it wasn't just Pat. It was also Jeff. I believe Manny was in on it.
A freshwater drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot, too.
So there were other people in on it. But at some point, as I'm walking through the backyard and onto the patio and into the house, and I look on the table and I'm like, holy shit, that bottle's empty. What's wrong with you guys?
He crushed it.
I said I was sharing. I didn't say you could have it. I feel like even for people new to bourbon, I feel like that Angel's Envy Rye is pretty easy to drink.
That was the first one that I said, okay, I can drink it. Now I can't tolerate it.
It's too sweet.
So sweet.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I actually didn't get to try it when I was in my beginning stage. I tried it doing a tasting for one of the bartenders at Garden Grill that did not have a palate for bourbon. She never really tried it, so I did a little tasting with her, and I threw the Angel's Envy Rye in there because I was excited to try it because I never had it. And I tasted it, and I was like, no, I'm very upset.
Yeah. I actually like the regular Angel's Envy.
Yes.
Now more than the Angel's Envy Rye. And believe me, I would have thought of never saying that because I liked or loved the rye that much. But it just, as your palate changes, you get used to higher proof, more flavor.
Yeah.
And you don't want that sweetness. It is too sweet.
Well, and that worked out well for you according to the MSRP.
Yeah.
You know, you went from
And
90 to
just
45. Yeah, and
Yeah.
availability.
Rye's super hard to find.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
it-
never
it-
find it.
Yeah, I think it's seasonal. I don't think it's even a year-round product. What I like is at Garden Grill, for some reason, I didn't even realize we had it because it was in the well.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the well with a red pouring top on it. I was like, what is going on right now?
It's only like $11 a pour over there.
Yeah, it's really cheap
very
for
reasonable
yeah.
for the price of the bottle.
I've been keeping that a secret. I write that on a piece of paper and slide it to people. Yeah.
Angel's Envy Rye, $11.
Best value.
You put up the mini shocker.
$11. Get it. But we have a couple good honestly, that E.H. Taylor single barrel, I think it's in between where a lot of people are. Some people have it pretty cheap, some people have it very expensive. We have it at 15 over there, so I don't think that's too bad.
No.
And then that Weller antique we have at 10, which I don't think is bad either. Some of the places
What
I've
about
seen.
the McKenna? Has that come down yet? No.
No, and we got more bottles of it. I'm going to try to work on that.
I should probably have a little bit more right now. Just talking about it, making me thirsty.
I'll let you pour it. I don't.
But what's hilarious is Lynette didn't even really know for sure what she had. I was on the restaurant sidebar, and she walks up with Weller Green Label and the Antique 107, and she's like, "Hey, I think I found something decent." And I just grabbed the antique red bottle, and I was like, "Where did you get this?" And she was like, "You're not going to let this go." I'm like, "Not until you tell me where you got it." And she had got it at this place that I'm not announcing on the podcast. But the craziest thing is, I believe typically the MSRP on that Weller is around $50. The Antique 107.
I think it's even less than that. I'm not sure.
I have no clue.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's typically like
Okay.
40 or 50.
I trust your judgment. I was thinking maybe closer to 40, but
What's weird is the Weller 12 its MSRP is cheaper, but it's a lottery item in most places now.
Right.
So I think it's 50, but they're selling it over at this place that I'm not going to announce for $30.
Yeah. Wow.
$30. So then I still didn't even know about the E.H. Taylor. I got back because they let me go try to get a bottle for myself. They're like, go ahead. So actually,
we're tired of seeing the wine and the tears.
Actually, the owner drove me over to the place. So when I got back, I was bummed because they were already out. And then she's like, I did get us another bottle of E.H. Taylor too. So I walk over there and I'm like, that's that's not the same color as the regular small batch. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she has a single barrel. And then I picked it up. It was, and I fell to my knees. And then I didn't want to let that bottle go. I've been looking for that bottle. Like, there's a good chance, and we got it at MSRP. Well, I don't have it here, sadly, but we got it at MSRP for the restaurant, and for the podcast, we're probably going to end up paying $100 or $120 just to have it for a podcast.
Yeah.
You know? It's so unfortunate.
Now, have you guys priced that out yet on what you're going to sell a pour for?
That's going to be 15.
15,
Yeah,
okay.
because of the rarity, and it's about a $70 bottle. So
Gotcha.
I was looking at, actually, I was looking on the list that BJ sent us. He's become a bourbon hunting addict, and he sent us 2 different restaurants lists. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And one of them had it for 8 or 9, and the other one had it for 25.
Yeah.
So I figure we're kind of right in between.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it's a lot harder for us to get probably than it is for them in that area.
Right.
Because I didn't even know we got it in this area.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
I didn't either.
But that place, we have to go there on delivery days.
For sure.
Because they had...
When is their delivery day? Do you know?
I'll tell you.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm not
Off-air.
letting people know about this because it's all MSRP in a non-state ran state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So normally those places, they sell it for hire. Everywhere else in West Virginia would be selling that for hire. But it's a very small place, and they also had a ticket on there for the E.H. Taylor Straight Rye. So they're getting some rare stuff in there.
Wow.
And
That's unbelievably
Yeah.
hard to find.
Right. But anyway, I guess we should talk about our tasting, huh?
Yes. Very excited. To Old Forester.
Now, how many do we have here, Steve?
We have 8,
How many do they make?
10. So we have done it again. Bastards of Bourbon have struck again. As you probably know, or if you've listened to any of the previous or our very first podcast, Bourbon podcast, Bastards of Bourbon podcast.
Yeah.
We did Jefferson's, and we also had 8.
Yeah.
We were a little bit worried about that. It actually went pretty well. We kept the pours to a minimum, which we will obviously continue to do tonight.
Yeah, I just think it's the best way to get through a tasting, especially if Tommy's with us.
Right. And I thought it would take us well over 2 hours. We actually got through the tasting in about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and that included, I think that included the rankings, or maybe it was 2 hours with the rankings.
I think it was 2 hours with the rankings.
I enjoyed that one a lot. 'Cause
I-
I like all the Jeffersons, so
Yeah.
when you guys went through them all, it was
It's really
nice.
surprising to me how many people, because I joined all those bourbon Facebook pages so that I could try to advertise the podcast on there, and nobody ever really posts anything about Jefferson, and it's crazy to me. I love their product.
I mean the Oceans.
Yeah.
I mean whatever they have. Since I don't have the luxury of having the 2117, all that stuff. I think I have. What did we buy when we were down there? What was it? Do you remember?
I believe it was the 17. I feel like it was the 17.
I think it is 17.
Yeah.
But you did bring us a 13,
Brought
which
you a
I've
13.
never seen. So
Yeah.
I am excited to taste that after we get done with this tasting.
They have the 20 in Robinson. I almost bit the bullet on that one today,
What was
but
it?
I was getting a lot of other stuff. It was 79.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot better than the 21 price we paid, but the 21 was worth it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the 21. I've seen the 20 everywhere.
I don't think we ordered it, and then they were like, "Hey, you guys can't get this again." I don't think they were supposed to send it to us. So, but
We're hoping to get some free Jeffersons straight from the distillery with all
the likes that they're giving us on social
Yeah.
media, and we recently got liked by Heaven Hill Distillery as well.
That's right.
Call your boy Trey.
Call your boy Trey.
Treyzilla.
Trey, what up?
You remember me, Trey?
You signed my bottle. Oh, man. All right, so the lineup, as we're going to go through it, is going to be the regular 86 proof Old Forester. And since it's 86 proof, we know it's a bourbon.
Uh-huh. I knew that was going to rear its ugly head. I know there were people watching that last time, and you went.
I wasn't in the room,
Yeah, you
or
went to
I
the
would have
bathroom.
helped you out.
Yeah, you would have been like, Steve,
stop.
but instead, no, they just let me go on and on.
They were enjoying it. They were grabbing bottles and like showing them to you.
And I wouldn't look at the bottles. It's 86.
You were conflating or like mixing together two different stories.
Right.
Anyway, So then we got the straight rye, which I'm excited to try because I've never had it.
100 proof.
It's 100 proof?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Then we're going to the Statesman.
95 proof.
95 proof. It's probably the one that me and Steve are the least excited for, but we don't want to taint you guys against it too much.
No.
Then go ahead, see what you got over there.
Yeah. So the Old Forester 100 proof.
Yeah.
And they just kind of call it Old Forester 100. Mm-hmm. And then go ahead down that end.
Yeah, and I've also never had that one.
I've got an interesting story for this one. For some of them, as I'm sure you've got some too. But
Yeah.
I'll save it till we get to it.
And then the Old Forester 1870, which is now we're hitting Whiskey Row is what we're hitting.
Yeah.
And the 1870 is the original batch. Then we got the Old Forester 1897. That's the bottled and bond. I should go back to the original batch. It is 90 proof. Bottled and bond, obviously 100.
And then we have Old Forester 1910, which Dave was telling us off air is actually the hardest one to get and is the only, to my knowledge, the only bourbon that's double barreled still. And there's a story behind why that is. We'll get into later.
When we get to that one, I want to talk about that more too because I don't even really understand what you're saying about that.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
And then we have Old Forester 1920. We'll wrap it all up, Prohibition style. And as we like to call a
big boy bourbon,
115 proof.
Yeah. And I'm a massive fan of that one. We've actually already sold out of 2 of those bottles at Garden Grove once we got it.
Wow.
It's at 12 a pour. People love it.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I'm sure as we start pouring this, we'll go ahead and dive into some of the history because they have a lot more history than I ever expected when I started researching it.
Same. Crazy.
So,
It's one of
Crazy.
the originals, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually, and it wasn't even, it was originally sold specifically as medicine. And the guy who started the company was actually a pharmaceutical salesman.
Sales rep.
Yeah.
George Garvin Brown.
What a name.
Sounds like a basketball player. You know what he sounds like? He just sounds like a fucking badass.
And their company is now called, what is it? Brown and something. I can't remember.
Brown and Foreman.
Brown and Foreman. That's correct. And he started with his half brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But initially sold as medicine, and from what I understand, the rumor has it that Forester used to have 2 R's, and
That's correct.
And it was named after a doctor.
Yep. Dr. William Forster,
Yeah.
who spelled his name with 2 R's, and they dropped the second R after he retired because at that point they didn't feel like they needed his support anymore or weren't going to get it since he retired. And originally, as you mentioned, for the medicinal part of it, that's why they got the doctor involved, thinking, well-respected doctor in the area, we need his support, so let's see if it's okay to name after him.
Yeah, and he was very much on the forefront of saying bourbon is medicine. So I salute you, Dr. Forster.
He's on to something.
Yeah,
See how this works here, Manny. I start out actually measuring them, and then when we get about halfway
That's
through,
why I'm not
it's a
letting
free
pour
pour.
anything. I don't want you pouring any of mine.
he will make it dangerous.
I've been there before.
All right, I'm gonna write this down here.
So oddly enough, when we went down to the trail, I went over with Adam Freshwater, and it was right across the street from our hotel, and
Yeah.
we did the tasting.
Whiskey Row.
Oh, really?
And I mean, I was feeling no pain at that point, so I don't remember a lot of it. But
Yeah.
oddly enough, this is the bottle I bought.
Oh, really? And so you were at Old Forester. That's
It's a
awesome.
Really cool distillery.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I could kick myself because they tried to get me to go with them. And I've told this story on previous bourbon podcast. And I was like, no, I've had enough bourbon today. And we kind of laughed about that. But, man, I wish I would have gone because, I mean, I'm glad they at least went because as soon as I tried it the next day and they were like, you got to try this. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, it's and you know what's crazy? This is MSRP $18.99.
Well, that's what I was going to say when you were talking about the under 25.
Yeah. This one will have
would
to
be
be
a
on
good
there.
one.
Yeah. Now with this one, it smells sweet.
Yeah.
I get sweet on the forefront, but then I feel like I get a decent amount of ethanol on the aftertaste. Why can't I think of the word? Should have took more Alpha Brain. But the
And
finish,
you were up
thank
till
you.
5 in the morning last night.
That is true.
I'm going to probably be filling in a lot of sentences.
I would really appreciate that.
I get, of course, I get some caramel overtones for sure.
Yeah.
It's got, I get the ethanol too, but it's got a nice little smoothness to it.
You can tell it's 86.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not a big boy bourbon.
Yeah.
It's an easy drinking one.
Now, see, on my second sip, I didn't get as much ethanol on the finish, but on the first one, I definitely did.
I'm going to try it with a little water.
Yeah.
Freaky angel dropper.
Yeah, I do wish it wasn't the Angel. I'm not going to lie about that. It's like a precious moment whiskey dropper. I'm not even sure that should be legal.
You know, and I see all those notes that Jacob pulled up. Thank you, but I'm not getting a lot of the pecan. Maybe I'm just missing it, and I don't get the spiciness.
Not spicy at all.
Yeah, I don't really get the spiciness. I think when I added the water, I get the pecan on the nose.
I
But
agree with you there. I get a lot of chocolate.
yeah, it's funny. I
But-
think we all said caramel. It doesn't even have caramel
No,
listed on
it
there.
doesn't. But I think, God, for the price point,
You can't beat the price
no,
point.
I mean, this is a
Everybody should have this on their shelf. It's $18.99. If you don't have
liter
it,
was $27.99 at the distillery.
yeah, there's no reason to not have it on your shelf at that price point.
be interesting to see what kind of old fashioned this would make.
Good one.
I think so.
Is there an old fashioned?
A man, a few words.
Now, Pat, I don't remember this. Do you? I know you like your bourbon neat. You typically drink it that way, but do you dabble in the old fashions at all, or
I
any?
do Manhattans.
You do Manhattans, okay. And what do you have a particular go-to bourbon for that, or just whatever tickles your fancy?
I do Angel Envy a lot.
Okay,
Um,
just the regular.
yeah, just the regular. That's some
For the-
Luxardo cherries, a little bit of cherry juice,
Gotta have Luxardo.
cherry syrup, really,
Yeah,
and makes for a good drink. No ice.
gotcha.
Oh, no ice.
I like it up. So
Yeah,
in the mixing jar, you stir it around for
To chill it.
20 seconds,
Yeah.
strain it. I think
Gotcha.
that's pretty good.
yeah. Boy,
I-
it sounds good.
Yeah, it's all just too sweet for me. I've really got a ice or like on a block or neat palate. I think. Like I finally had my old fashioned, and first sip I was very happy about. I was like, oh my god, this is why people drink these. About 3 more sips, I was like, this is way too sweet.
You
for
can
me.
only get one of them in. If you drink
yeah
4 or 5 of them, you're going to be.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes for how sweet it is. I'm sure it makes for just a fantastic hangover.
Bourbon makes for a fantastic hangover to begin with. So
I rarely get hungover from drinking bourbon.
Me neither.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's like
I mean-
there's times where I might feel a little off.
Yeah.
But I'm fully functional, capable about going on my day.
I think I'm a big boy, and I start with other things. and
Right,
it's,
right.
Give me
Now-
that
now-
Buffalo Trace neat. 3 of those later after you're already
Yeah.
feeling it.
Yeah. And I do think that there's a lot to say about that. If you drink, let's say you drink wine, then you dabble into the bourbon, or you're drinking beer. I mean, I think beer before bourbon is okay. But if you drink some bourbon and then you go and venture off especially if you go into any kind of white liquors like vodka or
Which is
gin.
what I do.
Yeah. You're just asking for trouble.
So me and Tommy, we were playing Madden last night. When we were up till 5, and we were like, we only have 1 game left, and then we're in the Super Bowl. We should just win the Super Bowl tonight. So we were drinking bourbon the whole time, and then at the end, we went with some Tito's, split a 5-hour energy between the 2 of them, and then threw some Bang energy drink on top of that. There was no going to sleep.
Asking for a heart attack.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun.
Let's throw caution in the wind.
I think I would say a good name for that mixed drink would be liquid cocaine.
Well, the most important question is, did you win the Super Bowl?
We did. We did. And then we were still so awake, we even did some of the off-season stuff. there was no way about it. he was like, all right, we should probably crash. I'm like, I can't crash. What are you talking about? I'm up, man. You want to do a workout?
So I take it that means we won't be seeing Tommy today.
Usually not. He said he's going to make an appearance. I doubt it.
Okay.
All right. So now we got the rye, which I'm excited for. I hope it doesn't fall into that overly sweet category.
I don't
think it does.
No, I don't think it does. No,
It's
I
a
had it
little-
late. Well, not late, but I did have some of the Ohio Russells prior to trying that last night, so that could have.
Oh, that's the barrel pick.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
I brought that one for us if we want to.
I'm sure we'll.
Any more self-destruction?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll go right into a train wreck in no time.
As you have astutely become aware, we are all about self-destruction. But it feels so good.
Yeah.
I
All
wanna
right,
look at
where's that pour
after I
at?
taste it.
Steve, you got that pour? The jigger. Oh. What? He went into panic mode. Yeah.
Why is he asking me for things that aren't here?
Oh, now I'm spilling stuff. Here we go.
It's a little early to be spilling stuff.
It's because I'm shaking. Because I was up till 5. You know what? It's
Drink some
like,
more liquid cocaine, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is, I'm going through a minor bit of withdrawal. So, oh, sorry. Look, I'm bumping everybody. I'm a train wreck already. I'm sweating. I don't know what's going on.
I should have known something wasn't right when I texted you at noon and you didn't get back to me for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's like something's not right.
I woke up the first time at 10. I was like, nope, not happening. Oh, it smells amazing on the nose.
You warming it up over there.
If you warm it up, you get a better aroma.
Oh.
See what I'm talking about? The knowledge.
Yeah, he looks like a scientist.
So this was
I should have thought it through before I said it.
$25. Robinson's fine wine and spirits. So again, price point. I mean, $25.
Can't beat that
It seems
price
like
point.
I thought it was kind of hard to find, and then it's like you get one bottle, and now all of a sudden it's going to show up at like the Hallmark's card store.
Right. Yeah. Like, what the hell? Yeah. I'll say this one has a good, like, butteriness to it, or oiliness, as most people like to say. I just think butteriness is more romantic.
There's not as much rye as I thought.
No.
It's not as spicy as I thought it would be.
I mean, I feel it some on the tongue, but I don't get a ton of the flavor, I guess.
When I looked at the mash bill,
Why is that weird plant brown sugar? That's weeds. I have those all over my yard.
when I looked at the mash bill on this, it's not as much rye as some others that we've had
Really?
that we like that are spicier for obvious reasons. They put some other stuff in there to mute and not overpower it with the rye. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why. And it's an interesting story about how they came up with this particular recipe. When they decided, they originally had a rye way back, and then 40 years they didn't. And then about, I think in the early 2000s, they decided to reintroduce a rye and chose this recipe out of 37 different rye recipes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think for the price point, and I agree, I definitely like a spicier rye.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I feel like I get a decent amount of spice on the finish, like in the back of my throat. It's pretty spicy back there.
It's a little sweeter than I like my ryes to be.
I agree, but
agree
it's
with
no
you there.
Angel's Envy.
I don't think anything's going to be like an
No.
Angel's Envy.
It's baffling to me how sweet that Angel's Envy rye is. Like, it's like putting
It doesn't
syrup
taste
in your
like
mouth.
A rye.
Oh, it's finished in the rum casks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why.
But man, we had that Jefferson rum cask, and it wasn't sweet like that at all. I felt like they just poured simple syrup in it.
Maybe they did.
Maybe.
They aged it with simple syrup.
Let's be honest. They could say they did this and that, and
Yeah,
we have no idea.
Jacob, pull those tasting notes back up. Chestnut. Okay. I knew I got a little nut, but I wasn't sure what type. I'm just glad it wasn't any of the sexual type of nuts.
Where are we going with this?
I'm glad that I didn't get any pine because I don't.
Any chickpeas?
That's the best joke. It's on another episode that's yet to be released.
I don't know why I'm getting like a garbanzo bean. Like hummus.
Hummus.
What do they make those? What do they make hummus with? Chickpeas.
Chickpeas? You know the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean, right? we got a problem.
I hang around you too much, Steve.
I'm really glad I don't get the pine because there's nothing
I get it.
I hate more than alcohol than
I don't
pine.
get it at all either. I think after adding a little bit of water, I got a whiff of it on the nose.
I get more of it with the water. I get the dill. I get a lot of dill.
Yeah, I agree.
It's much better with the water.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, I would probably drink this on a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And one I would love to try in a Manhattan. I mean,
old fashioned. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's and honestly, it's again. I guarantee it's not going to be my favorite on the tasting, but for that price point, I feel like it should probably be on your shelf.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, $21.
Yep.
You're not going to find a lot of better bourbons or ryes at $21.
Jacob, just holler.
Yeah, when you want something.
All right.
All right.
Smart. He's smart.
Yeah.
Oh, after the tasting?
He's like I gotta
Oh.
keep you fucks in line.
I never thought I would see Jacob like upset with me at all. But then the last podcast when I just blurted out at hour 2 the top 5 Brad Pitt movies, and he was just like this.
He was deflated.
What in God's name is he doing?
I'll tell you what though, the videos are getting more downloads than I ever expected, especially coming out of the gate.
It's great.
And from what I can tell, people are watching most of it. Shockingly.
It's good comic relief at work. Sitting at my job, my desk, just put it up in the background and feel like I'm back at the Steubenville Country Club.
I'm sure
BSing.
people laugh at us a lot. Like, because we're idiots.
Self-destructive idiots.
Yeah, let's be clear. We're not actually comedians. That's what somebody also told me, that, tastings should really only be 4 different bourbons at a time. I said, you don't know what bastards means, do you?
Double it. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Double it.
It means we're not the typical variety that you're going to see.
You don't seem very excited about this.
I'm not looking forward to it. I already know this one, and
Oh, you've tasted it?
You don't like it.
I wish I did because I love the movie.
Yeah. Well, and it was...
So they made this bourbon because of the Kingsman movie.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and it was marketed. I'm not sure if the producers approached Old Forester and said, "Hey, we need a bourbon for our movie,"
Yeah.
or what the story behind that is. But
Take that jigger too, brother.
you got it.
All right. So they basically what they did, in my opinion, from my first time tasting this, is they were like, "Hey, this is a great movie. We should make a shit bourbon to go with it."
Well, tell us how you really feel. I am very, believe it or not, excited about trying this again, even though Manny is not. And I'll tell you why. Because when we first had it, extremely disappointed.
Very disappointed.
Kind of ripped it down.
Especially for the price point.
And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to hold off and give this thing some time and go back to it and see if maybe it sparks me in a different way. Now, the reason there's only so much left in that bottle is because when...
Putting Coke in it?
No, yeah. Well, when Pam went... She was
wasn't.
Yeah. She was leaving to go to the beach for a week, and she was like, "Oh, is there a bourbon here I can take that I can, mix Diet Coke with or whatever else?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, take the Statesman. Please."
Please.
She was like, "But this looks like it's really good." I'm like, "Oh, it's good. Take it."
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's yours. We were both really excited to try this the first time around, and it just
95 proof.
It smells decent on the nose, actually.
I just get nothing but alcohol.
I'm getting a lot of alcohol.
Not a whole lot.
And there's just not. I don't know what other word to use. Like there's just not a lot of character to
body.
it.
Depth.
Body, character, depth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
like it just comes and goes.
And especially what is this $50, $60 bottle?
I'm pretty.
that
I
high?
got it online
Yeah.
for $60.
It's $50 or $60, and it's just
I mean, at that price point,
Yeah,
you can
there
get
you
some
go.
really good bourbons.
$57.99.
Yeah.
And they gave it a 7.9 out of 10.
that's fucking absurd. So they're paid by Old.
Who
Who owns this site?
Flaviar.
I want to know if this is owned by what is it? Brown and what?
Brown and Foreman.
Brown and Foreman. Do they own Flaviar? I'm very curious.
We have found that they own half of the Bourbon Trail. So this would be a good time to talk about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Dave finds out and texted me yesterday, and I was like, shit, I got to go look at this. And he's like, they own Jack Daniels. Obviously, they have Old Foresters. That was their original. And they also own Woodford Reserve.
Yeah. Well, to me, it just means because Old Forester is the original company, then they made it this other thing. So it means Old Forester owns Jack Daniels. And I just can't wrap my head around that. They bought it in 1956.
Yeah. And then we also find out that there's a pretty high-end tequila that they don't make in Kentucky. I'm sure they just own the rights and they have it. Hindura, I believe it's pronounced. Finlandia vodka, Canadian Mist, and
Love that.
Corbel.
Give me that plastic bottle anytime.
Sparkling champagne.
Corbel, yeah.
Yeah, Corbel.
Hey, listen, I'll give you a plastic bottle right now that you'll like more than this. I guarantee it's sitting right over there.
All right, so thoughts, though? I mean, anything you're getting out of this?
I'm not really getting much from it, to be honest.
The water mellows it out a little bit, but it doesn't.
I think it smells better than it tastes.
I feel like this would make a good bourbon cocktail that would have maybe a Manhattan, but I feel like it might need to be something more feminine, more spritzy.
But man,
Spritzy?
but
I find all sorts of new vocabulary for this podcast.
but isn't it crazy to spend $60 on a mixer? A mixer bourbon. That's just. I mean, what do you think about it? Are you getting anything from it?
Unrefined.
Unrefined.
It's just.
That was a really nice way to say shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not.
Well spoken.
Yeah. That was a really great way to say, wow, let's not drink this anymore. And I agree.
Yeah, it's nothing special.
Steve, you don't have to leave it here.
It's staying.
Use it to start a fire later.
Ooh. Oh, man. That's.
Ooh, if oh, no, she's not going to show up. I was going to say, if Pam comes, we'll give her some.
Oh, yeah. That would have been good.
We'll give some to Wendy if she
Wendy,
comes.
she'll love it.
Yeah. Are they coming?
I have no clue.
Well, if they don't know the address, it's going to be tough.
I'll just tell them.
Well,
Yeah, I'll tell
Jeff
them
knows
it is.
where it is.
Oh, Jeff's with them?
Possibly.
Oh,
we don't.
okay.
You get very few like, maybe, I don't know, and
Maybe, yeah.
I might lay down.
Listen, I thought about laying
My
down.
hemorrhoids are really acting up.
Poor Jeff.
They're a little bit older than I am, so I'm poking fun.
and you're thoroughly enjoying it.
Yes, I am.
I could see the happiness in your face. Will anybody notice if I just throw some water on top and dump this?
Hey, if you got to dump it, dump it. I don't think
I feel like that's a crime.
I don't think George Garvin Brown would be very pleased, but you
Who
do
cares
what you
about
gotta
him?
do.
Yeah, I don't even know that guy. I'll tell you, it's upsetting too because we just had basically a $19 bottle. But would you say this was 24, 25?
25.
And then a 60, and these two were leaps and bounds better in my opinion.
Not even close.
I'd buy this 3 times before I ever buy that.
Yeah. So crazy. We're Yellowstoning this one, without a doubt.
Oh boy.
Save it for the rankings. All right. So I'm extremely excited about this next one. As you can tell, I probably say that about every bourbon we're about to try. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this one.
I saw his hand on the Knob Creek. I was like, are we just jumping to the Knob Creek? Is that what's happening?
Here's this. Oh, he's twisting the cap. Oh, gosh.
Steve, I know this is going to come as a shock to you, but you're never going to guess what I have to do.
Take a piss.
Yeah.
We have found out medically, we had him get a CT scan. Dave's bladder is the size of a squirrel.
A whole squirrel? Or
Squirrel's bladder,
okay.
Sorry.
That would be an impressive bladder.
Right.
Really. It's the whole squirrel.
Squirrel's bladder. So we need to have an abacus so we can start counting. He'll get up to like 5 or 6 by the end of the podcast.
I'm going to be right there with him.
And you already have one in.
Well, let's be clear. That was before we started. That was a
Okay.
I can't talk about preemptual. I'm having a rough time.
So this product that we're about to have, Old Forester 100, as they call it, is its brief name, 100 proof. People get this confused and think that this is the Old Forester bottled in bond, and it's actually not. And there's a reason why. But here's what you need to know that's most important about this bourbon that I think is really cool. So Old Forester's makes what they call a birthday bourbon. It's their highest end bourbon, and they mix barrels of 9-year to 13-year-old bourbons. And that becomes, they take the absolute best bourbon of those barrels, and that becomes their birthday bourbon. That retails for around $400 roughly. Just depends on where you're going to see it, but I think the cheapest you're going to get it, I believe, is around $350 to $400. So what doesn't make the cut of the birthday bourbon becomes this Old Forester 100.
I need that jigger.
And
Sorry.
that's what excites me about it, because I've never had the birthday bourbon. I'm not sure if I ever will. It's hard to get. It's super expensive unless someone just happens to say, hey, I got birthday bourbon. You want to come over and have some?
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Well, we have decided that we're going to start splitting bottles because we almost have to for the podcast. So You never know. We may. But it is going to be hard to find.
And I was just saying, Dave, while you were gone, so this, whatever doesn't make the cut for the birthday bourbon becomes this.
Classy seconds.
Classy seconds. That's right.
That definitely excites me because, I mean, that's kind of what we heard about Weller 12 compared to Pappy.
Yep.
And people love Weller 12, even though I haven't had it yet, Jeff.
Yeah. The other cool thing about this is it used to be called Old Forester Signature. And again, the reason why it's not considered Old Forester's 100 proof bottled in bond is because it doesn't hit all the guidelines, because they use different bourbons from different seasons. And to be a bottled in bond bourbon, it has to be all from the same distilling season.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they never said, and apparently this George...
and it's not, also it's probably not kept in a government facility either.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that they say this is the seconds of that birthday barrel, and it comes with a screw top. Screw top.
Dude, I feel like Old Forester's like, guess what? Our bourbon is pretty good. I don't give a fuck what top we put on it.
They've been around so long. It's
They're like, guess what? We
screw you.
We just saved you $10 by not putting a cork on it.
What's the price point on this? I don't even know.
I want to say that's $20.99.
Yeah, so
that's a pretty good bottle.
It's definitely not $26.99. I do know that. So that one is a little above, but that's pretty close. Whatever site, the flavor is pretty close. It seems like usually.
This is remarkably better than the Statesman.
And half the cost.
Half the cost and
What was the Statesman proof?
95.
So this is even as
And
higher proof,
all you
and
smelled was alcohol on the nose of that one, and this one smells a lot better.
And I like what I get out of the smell, and it could just be a weird thing I'm getting, but it's almost like I can smell a little bit of the char from the barrel.
I'm glad you said
makes
char
sense.
because I feel like I'm actually getting some char on the palate. But honestly, on the on the nose, I didn't hate the Statesman. Weirdly, for some reason, I didn't get the same thing as you guys with that. Well, at least with you with the alcohol, but I didn't like the taste at all. This one, I feel like I got a little sweetness on the nose.
Definitely get the sweetness in this. That toffee.
Yeah. I don't get the espresso, but maybe it says in sweet pea. Oh, so I thought that said sweet pea. I was like, what?
What's the difference between a sweet pea and a chickpea?
And I want to know who the fuck is putting vegetables in my bourbon. You will put steak in my bourbon.
So, anise, okay? So I'm trying to say, last night, when we're trying a bourbon last night, I said, I get a little bit of anise. And right away, like 3 people 10 to 15 years older than me, anise? You taste anise? You must have something wrong with you.
Did you expect anything other?
I know. I know.
You
That's
set yourself
hilarious.
up.
I did. I'm like, okay. I wasn't even going to fight it. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, yep, I taste anise.
Yeah. Like a true bastard. You're like, yeah, you don't get anus from this? Well, I don't. You're being weird. If you don't taste anus in this, you're being weird. Oh my god. I keep forgetting. Oh no, you got the other water. I forgot.
So I'm enjoying this. I think, for the price point, I can't believe it's under 30. Is it?
Make a good old fashioned.
Oh,
Is it knocking your socks
it
off?
could be a go-to. It could be a go-to for me.
I agree.
For
the price, you got
daily
the high enough
bourbon.
proof.
Yeah, right. It's a very good way to put it. Good daily bourbon.
Yeah. Again, for these 3, I don't see how you don't have them on your shelf. They're just, the price point is so simple, great to have.
You don't care if you drink it, throw it on there. If
Right. You
you're
don't.
with a beginner.
$21.
Right, let a
Perfect for
beginner jump
beginners.
on there. I'm terrible with people that I'm like, oh, you've never had bourbon before, huh? How about some blends?
That's then you're gonna ruin them. If you put them on blends, they're not gonna like anything else.
Right, it is a problem. I have that issue. But actually, I think it wasn't the first bourbon my brother tried, but the first one he tried on this podcast was Gathering of Fools was the blends. We're like, what? You've never had blends?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. Bring it on in.
Luckily,
Let us hug you.
Luckily, Tommy, I don't know if you remember how little Blanton's was left, so luckily Tommy brought over his bottle, and he said that room has to have blends. I'm like, Tommy, thank you.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, I enjoy this. It's definitely better than the Statesman. I think so far every one of them is better than the Statesman.
Doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It's got some nice flavor. I didn't even try it since I put the water in, so I should probably do that.
Who's got the squirrel bladder now?
That is number 2. Or duh.
Oh man.
All right.
This is really drinkable. I don't know.
I get some. I definitely get
I'm fighting
as I
back and
mentioned,
forth
a little
on
bit
what-
toastiness. That char I was talking about.
Yeah, I definitely get the
I
jar.
like it.
I'm fighting back and forth on where I think it ranks so far.
I will tell you this. I'm going to make an old fashioned out of this very soon. I don't have a bottle at home. I know it's at the store,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's at Wintersville. Yeah.
I'm going to get a bottle. So if anything comes out of this, we try. I mean, we obviously are not master distillers.
Right. I'll tell you what I want to ask you is what you have coming from BJ. And then I'll tell you what I have coming from BJ.
Okay, so I got the
Our
Widow,
friend is in Hilton Head.
Yeah, so I got the Widow Jane because the batch number was 109, and that's a batch number from, I would think, a few years back.
Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact.
I also got a Widow Jane because it's Widow Jane.
And I'm hoping he's going to get me the Dovetail.
Of the barrel?
The I think it was the I don't know how they name their bourbons, but I think this one was called the New Year.
No, Dovetail. It was, he had one, there was
Weren't there
a
like
19-year Dovetail, then the New Year,
It was
then
the-
the single barrel.
Yeah, it was the New Year.
New Year?
Yeah.
I got the single barrel.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm glad we didn't get the same one.
Now, that's if he gets his ass back there and gets it, because when I texted him, I was like, oh, man, I really wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, you were a little late on
Yeah.
it, huh? Yeah. Well, we definitely got the single barrel regardless. So
And Jeff got one, too, but I don't know which one he got.
God,
A
it'd be great if
dovetail.
he got a dovetail.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We have 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because those ones we're not going to get them around here.
Right.
Anything else?
Right now, that's it. I don't know. How much longer is he there?
I don't know, but I got a Pikesville, the Widow Jane.
I saw that in his lineup, so that's who it's for.
Yeah, the single barrel from Barrel, and then I also got the.
Did you get the piggyback?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the piggyback.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a whistle pig,
You
but I
did
didn't want to
spend some
spend
money.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Tommy threw in half. Well, prior to the barrel, the barrel's gonna be all me. But that barrel, I couldn't pass up on getting one of the barrels. At first, I said, get just the cheapest barrel. I got to have one of those. And I was like, forget what I said. Get the most expensive barrel.
Right. What the hell?
What the hell was I talking about? Plus, especially because it's like a $20 difference. I'll spend the extra 20. Never mind.
Yeah, come on. I mean, at that point.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, even though he's not here to actually participate
Jeff Summers.
verbally, Tommy is here and
Oh, Tommy is here in
in
decanter
statue.
form. and he does play music, but we're not going to worry about that right now. That is definitely Tommy. That's
for sure.
That's Tommy with my beard. All right, Jeff Summers walking the house, sitting in the peanut gallery. Good to see you, brother. What do you have there? 1910.
All right, so
That's
we
very
are,
well done.
We are just getting ready to hit Whiskey Row, which is down your end, Pat. That's the 1870. So grab that, mother.
Get
Teach
us
you the
going.
lesson.
Why are you teaching your mom's lessons? You leave your mom alone. She's a nice lady.
She is a very nice lady. Annie's like one of my faves. I have a feeling that she likes her bourbon as well.
My mother?
Yeah.
She loves Blanton's, and she does Jim Beam Black with ginger ale a lot.
Okay.
It's great. At some point we're gonna have to run the train on those Jim Beam products.
And I feel like we do the under 25, whatever. There's a lot of those that will hit because they're not super expensive. I know they do a single barrel now. I'm not sure how much it costs.
I think that one is actually close to 40.
Okay.
So I think we do like a 25 or 30 to 40, and then below that.
I'm curious to see the bottom shelf and see what you guys come up with.
I have a bottom shelf $10 a fifth bottle. I swear by.
We got to talk about that at some point. Are we going to do the Maker's Mark next, or are we going to do this? I mean, I feel like people who.
Well, I feel like we got to get Jeff and Tommy in on that discussion because that's the one that they're that's their bi-weekly one or whatever.
So
Are you a dolphin? Dolphin with a deep voice.
All right, so the story behind this is simply this is 1870 is when George Garvin Brown started his whiskey bourbon company.
I'm sorry, his prescription medicine company. I love these guys.
Freeport now. It's Freeport time.
I'll take that jigger if you don't mind.
You can take it and keep it. Manny and I don't need it.
Oh, no, I don't want him pouring me anything right now.
This is where it gets hairy.
I've been on the receiving end too many times of free pours.
There was one tasting, and he about filled up my Glencairn. I swear to God. I was like, what just happened? We still have 4 more bourbons to go through.
I have loose wrists.
Very flimsy. Very flaccid, if you will. All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's got a good nose. I feel like Whiskey Rose.
And this is one
gonna
I don't
take over right now.
Yeah, this is one I'm not even sure I've had before, but boy,
Smooth.
yeah, super
Very
smooth.
smooth.
Very refined. The complete opposite of.
You like those big words, Pat.
I'm glad he does.
It brings a little intelligence to the podcast,
Intelligence,
which
to the
it
bastards.
lacks completely.
I feel like we might need to turn up his gain a little bit, though. What do you think? Oh, you don't have headphones on. Yeah, turn up his gain just a little. I agree with you, though. Very, very much more refined, especially of everything that we've had. I mean, especially more than
incredibly
Statesman.
smooth.
I have a couple questions really quick. Why do they have that guy as the spicy symbol?
Yeah, who's that? Franz Ferdinand? Like, what's going on here?
So what, is he a spicy guy, I guess?
Feeling very spicy.
An Italian guy, an old Italian
Hey,
dude?
look at me! I'm spicy.
He looks like he's got that William Shakespeare neck garb on.
Quite the forehead.
Quite the forehead. Very little hair.
5 head.
He fits right in.
It's just so spicy. Look at my mustache.
Probably put
spicy
some oil in
mustache.
that. Twist the ends.
Twist the ends, looking good.
My other question is clove. What is clove? What is that flavor?
It's like a. I really don't know exactly how to describe it to you. The main way I remember clove from, the flavor of clove, is from clove cigarettes. They used to be a really big thing, and they weren't good. Like
So clove is not good.
potpourri-ish.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah, potpourri.
Sometimes people put it in hams when they bake them.
It's like the Easter ham kind of deal.
Right.
You just throw everything in there and just...
Why do you know everything?
Me?
This
Somebody has to.
So, yeah, and it's not going to
Not
be
one
me.
of us.
But I think also what that brings out, and like Pat's saying, it brings a floralness to it.
It's like an earthy tone.
Yeah, I would say earthy.
I definitely get the floral.
Zesty.
Does this taste like biscuits? Anyone?
I just like the fact that
No,
they have
I
the
think
picture
it's
of
just
biscuit.
good to drink with biscuits.
Maybe.
I also want to know why they're acting like that cookie is a biscuit.
It looks like
That's
ice
definitely
cream
like
sandwich.
frosting in the
I'll
middle,
tell
right?
you, I definitely, but I
biscuit
do
do they have?
get the orange out of it for sure.
Tommy, shut your music up. Oh man. Oh, Dave's having a good time.
So I think it's the first time I've tried the 1870. I'm a big fan.
Very good.
I think I get the.
You want to?
Okay. Hey, pull that back up.
All
for
right,
me
I think
real
that's a
quick.
mistake.
He'll get there.
What's the price point on this one?
That one is.
That's pretty good. For,
Is it
I want to
40?
say it's between 45 and 50 for sure. This,
Yeah, but that's a little low.
this
Yeah.
is between. I think this is between 45 and 50. The bottled and bond is between 50 and 55.
These are like 60.
Yeah, the 1920 is definitely 60, 100%. That's the only reason I know that price range for those, because this one is a little bit more than the original batch.
that's another one for the price point. You just have to have on the shelf.
Honestly, I think that's an excellent price point for it. It's there's not a ton of bourbon that you're going to get at that price point that's going to bring you that kind of flavor.
Did you try it? How many of
I didn't
these
even
did
put
you
water
try
in
when
mine.
you went on the?
So, this might sound crazy, but Adam and I were relatively smart at that time. Where
my.
they give you a tasting. Yeah, hard to believe,
Hold
right?
on, wait. Let me write down date and time.
Date and time, smart.
Call my mom. Call my mom. Tell her.
Manny, smart. Jacob, what's the date?
No, it's more that he was with Adam and it was smart.
Oh.
I don't think either of us were.
Oh. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But-
this is after drinking bourbon all day and doing the bourbon trap.
Yeah, so when we went over there, we just did the tasting, and they gave you, I think it was like $10. I can't remember what it was. Anywhere from 10 to 20, and you got 3 of any of the. They had 6. I can't remember exactly what they were. Granted, like I said, this was the end of the night
Sure.
after a full day.
Yeah.
But I remember having Prohibition. I remember 1910, 1920, and I think we had the rye in the 86. But we were smart, where he got 3, and I got the other 3. So we were able to try all of them and kind of judge.
Now, what he's not telling you is how they shared those 3.
I mean, if I'm being
Little
honest,
swirl in the mouth.
no, listen. If I'm being honest,
Your
Adam
mouth.
drank them all. I didn't have. I mean, he was just give me this, give me that.
Well, that actually was smart because at first I was like, so you each just tasted 3? I think you're using the word smart wrong. You should have tasted all 6.
It was a great tasting for the price, and you know what we got out of it. I mean,
So
was,
Old Forester charges for for their tour.
Well, they all
Yeah, more
charge
for like their tasting
Okay.
than anything.
We
yeah.
just walked in off the street and walked right into their tasting room,
Okay.
and they just said, "Here's the list of 6. Pick 3."
Okay.
And really, those are the best places because once you do one tour, they're all the same. And then you get to it, and you're like, oh,
Start resenting
a lot,
it.
Yeah, a lot of places won't let you do the tasting unless you do the tour. So then you're going through the tour, and you're bored because you've heard it all again.
Start
and
knocking stuff over.
Right, knocking things over.
Isn't that what
sticking your hands down in the mash,
What's this?
sir?
I was gonna say, isn't that what they make flask for? But apparently, you did not need a flask.
No.
Like, look, we can just mix it up.
She
This is
looked
good.
at me, and I looked. We made eye
I
contact.
want this barrel to be called Steve.
We made eye contact, and I looked at her with the serious of a face as I could and said, I thought it was oatmeal.
No, you didn't. Did you? Okay. I wish you
No,
did.
but I wanted to.
Yeah, we're going to do that when we go.
But they actually, at Woodford Reserve, they allow you to do that.
Oh, put your hand in.
You can dip your hand down in it.
Which
and,
is-
and it does look like
You did it at
oatmeal.
Which is
too.
owned by,
Brown and Furman.
yeah, Old Forester,
Yeah.
all over the place.
No, you tried it at Woodford, and you tried it at Kentucky
Yes.
Artisanal.
Now that guy was like, he didn't want any
He
part
didn't
of that.
care. He said, "Yeah, sure, don't fall in."
Yeah. He seemed shocked that I asked that, though.
That you can put your hand in
Yeah.
it.
I was like, you mind if I put my hand in? And everybody in the group's like, oh, God. What's he talking
Well,
about?
my question for you is: did they taste the same? The mashes? Do you
No.
remember?
No, they did not.
Which one did you think was better?
Jefferson's.
All I can picture in my head is like them walking away and then them coming back, and you're just sitting in it like a jacuzzi.
Yeah. Inner tube. In the inner tube.
Hey guys, how was the tour? Pre-COVID, of course. Can't do that stuff now that there's COVID involved.
It's just frowned upon now.
It's just frowned upon. Just frowned upon to go swimming in the. Oh man,
That was good.
I drank it too quick. It was delicious.
Wow. I put a little water in it. Sorry. I put a little water in it.
You gotta get your sexy voice into the mic.
Sexy. Boy, I mean, I even like it better with a few drops of water. I mean, it brought out it a lot more depth.
Yeah, a lot more depth. I think
A lot more floral with the water.
Yeah, well, to me, and I think honeysuckle could be considered floral because that's actually a flower, isn't it? Honeysuckle.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Smart guy over there.
yeah, I'm so glad you're here. So, it's like Wikipedia. Honeysuckle. I definitely got honeysuckle, and I feel like I got some of the dried fruit as well.
You sure they weren't stewed fruits?
I forgot about which one was that? What was that? That was actually a tasting note on
Yeah.
one of them, wasn't it? That's hilarious. Stewed. What is a fucking stewed fruit?
You really don't want them to like it if stewed fruit is
Right.
one of the
Sounds
notes.
like mush.
It's not what I was thinking, but
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Honestly, the first time I had it, I was not as big of a fan as I was of it as I am this time.
well, that's the one
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I've started to realize is
The cabinet above
Paper
the
towels.
cabinet above the paper towels. You can get there you go.
so one thing I was always guilty of is I'd try it right away and I'd say this isn't good, and I realized you got to drink it a little bit to really
Yeah, well, and especially
and it's easy to do when you first get into it, just to try it and say this isn't good.
this isn't good. Yeah, and not just that, just especially when you first start drinking bourbon, because your palate's going to change. I don't know. Did you hear the story about my 4-row single barrel that I donated?
Oh
to the
no,
country
because
club?
I was the same way. I hated Four Roses.
Yeah, and now it's excellent. and now I love it. Hey, listen, the country club got the good end of the deal there. I fucked up.
It definitely takes some time to build up, and I've recently, in the last about 8 months, really have started to dig into the higher proof stuff and be able to actually enjoy it without.
I want to ask you guys, because I had a moment where I felt like my palate just took like a massive jump. I actually text Steve all excited like a giddy little schoolgirl, because I'd had Buffalo Trace I don't know how many times, and then one time I took a drink of it, and all of a sudden I was like, I understand what they mean by oily. I understand what they mean by this note and that note. And I was like, holy shit! It just clicked. Did you guys have that kind of moment at all?
I did with. Oddly enough, I was on a date.
Oh yeah,
that's hard to believe. Me on a date.
You left her there after you realized.
I feel like this is going in a strange direction.
It's not. Calm down.
Please, go ahead.
But we were just sitting at a bar, and
Tantalize me.
I saw they had Angel's Envy, and I remember trying the regulars Angel's Envy and not liking it.
Yeah. Oh really?
And then I got it, and I said, "Wow, this is smooth."
Yeah, it's really smooth.
And that's what kind of I started. And then I tried the Reserve again, the Jefferson's Reserve, which I always liked, but I always thought there was a low bite to it. I tried it again. I said, "There's no bite to this at all." And then I started kind of slowly moving up. Same thing with the E.H. Taylor.
Yeah.
It always makes me wonder, is it an educated palate? Is it because we've drank bourbon that's good and bad? And
no, it's because we destroyed our tongues enough that
well,
now we
right.
can taste
It's
it.
an educated
Or is it because we have killed whatever taste buds were left?
So it has to be the big boy bourbons.
There was no single point
the only
for
way
me where I was like, oh man, now I can discern between all those different flavors and aromas and that kind of stuff. It was more over time, like what you said, trying good, bad, stuff like that.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I feel that I can still go back and actually drink an Angel's Envy rye and enjoy it for what it is. Is it too sweet? Sure.
Yeah.
But it's
you know that going in.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough for me to go to that, I think, at this point. I mean, I'd probably buy one to have on the shelf, to be honest with you, but I don't think I would drink it too often unless I was sharing it with somebody else.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have a bottle that I've had for a year now.
Oh,
and
really?
Just sitting on the shelf.
Well, you need to
waiting for one of these guys
you
to
need
drink
to bring
it.
that boy home.
I gotta save it for my dad. I gotta have him. Have some bourbon.
He loves that.
I know for a fact Jeff will take that bottle. Yeah. All right, while you guys start pouring, you're never going to believe this, but another bad
Number 2, you and Manny are now tied. Pat and I still sit at 0 because our bladders are not the size of a squirrel's bladder.
No comment.
His bladder actually might be smaller than a squirrel's
My
bladder.
dad ran over a squirrel today.
They're everywhere.
Don't tell him I said that.
These
Just
squirrels.
golf cart just. He said I didn't
In
do
a
that.
golf cart.
It was in a golf cart.
Oh,
Jeez, did it kill it?
Oh yeah.
That's
Okay.
brutal.
I think Andy ran over it after, but
So twice.
Just to make sure.
just to confirm it. Maybe just hit the tail.
Confirmed kill.
All right, so let's talk about this 1897. Pretty excited about this one, too. Shocking. Okay. All right, so this is their bottled and bond bourbon. It came out 1897. The reason for the year is that's the year that U.S. Came out with the Bottled and Bond Act. So it's got to come from one distillery in one distilling season, glass bottle, and be exactly 100 proof. That's what makes it bottled and bond. Dave says that it's got to be stored in a government facility. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't think it is, but at one point it definitely was.
What does that mean, government facility?
I think just a facility that has government oversee.
Yeah, oversight.
Yeah, you know, not like
We don't know.
not like they're taking it all to the Pentagon.
That's what they do there. Okay.
It's actually Guantanamo Bay.
So this is their true bottled and bond bourbon, and again, not to split hairs or not to sound like I'm talking to a kindergarten class, but the Old Forester 100 is not the bottled in bond Old
Right.
Forester. It is this, what we're about to try.
It is the bastard of birthday.
Yes.
What'd you think of that, Jeff?
The 1870?
Yeah,
It's good, but I made the mistake of having the 1910 first.
that is a mistake.
It is.
So-
1910 is
Yeah. I need that bottled in bond as well.
You're making a lot of mistakes.
well, I hope it's 1920 last.
What did you have in your
1920
your golf
is
bag?
last.
Excuse me?
What did you have in your golf bag?
1897.
What we're drinking right now.
I thought so. Just want to confirm.
This is meaty.
Meaty.
Yeah.
And
It's a little meaty.
Little meaty.
And as we know, I obviously just a little bit ago said I want steak in my bourbon.
This is it. So
Now, you've had this before, clearly. This is your bottle.
Yeah, but I only had it once or twice. I think I just opened it last night for me and Tommy drinking till 5 a.m. like assholes.
Maybe we should just pour the rest of it into Tommy's decanter here.
Yeah, Tommy, would you like a little 1897, Tommy? Huh? Little Tommy two-phone action?
He says yes.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
Jacob, you want to try this? I think you should have all the Whiskey Rose because they're all phenomenal products. Not that.
He just pulled up his glass. He's still got a lot in there.
Okay.
Which one is in there?
1870 right now.
I might have got a little heavy with his pour.
Shocking.
It looked like a lot of.
I mean,
It's hard to believe.
Looked like about half a glass of bourbon.
My wrists have been carrying a lot of heavy things today.
Jeff's 2 glasses might equal his 1.
like 2 or 3 fingers.
Come on. Wait, let me see it, Jacob. Is it that heavy?
The difference in color.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
My cube
the 1910 is much darker from what I. Yeah.
It's alright.
All right, so the 1897. I'm getting some ethanol on the nose on this one.
It's good.
It is good.
It's real good.
It's good. Bourbon good.
It's good. Hold on, why? Because bourbon tastes good.
There you go.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even want to put water in it. I don't. I'm going to.
I'm going
I
to
think
as
it's
well.
good the way it is, but
It's just the right amount of spiciness and smooth.
very balanced.
It's easy to drink. Balanced. Smart guy over there.
This is why it is great to have these guys on. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, listen to what they're saying. I mean, it's balanced. It's smooth.
No, listen to what Pat says. I just
No,
I say dumb words and he
No.
just
I'm-
makes
I'm-
one word for
I'm
all the
just-
dumb words I say.
Bourbon good.
I'm full of shit.
Honestly, well, I like the fact that we can find some younger guys that are already into bourbon. I mean,
He's not allowed on with me, Tommy.
like Steve, honestly, could you picture having a refined bourbon palate at what 24,
23.
23?
24.
Could you picture that?
I cannot. No.
It's not a good thing. You might think it's a good thing, but
Yeah,
it's
well,
rather expensive
it
really
is.
quickly.
Yeah.
Expensive habit.
Oh, listen, me spending all my money at the bars was also expensive, but I was drinking swill.
Hey, no one back in the day, little Four Loko, Vegas bomb,
at the
it's a spot.
At the bars, they actually had troughs on the side, and you could just drink from those for $10. So that's what I went with.
Good deal.
Hey, my grandfather, 88 years old, CC Manhattans all day.
Right.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
your
Canadian
grandfather
club?
is one of my favorite fucking people.
So I had the pleasure last weekend. Emily was in. I invited myself over. And I had the pleasure of sharing what we considered to be about a 70 to 75-year-old scotch called Pinch, made by Hagen Hague. They don't
Pinch?
make it anymore. Pinch. And it was unbelievable. So Charlie got it in 1955 as a gift. And
Hold the fucking phone. He got it in 1955.
He got 4
as a
bottles.
gift.
You got 4 bottles.
1955. So we're sitting there together, and Mike brings it out because he gave Mike a bottle. Mike, his son, Manny's dad. And, he brings it out. He's like, you really got to try this. So, we're getting ready to try it. And I'm like, Charlie, when did you get this? And, I mean, it wasn't 3 seconds. Oh, I got it in 1955. you would think it would take him a little bit of time to think about it.
No,
Like,
absolutely
I don't
not.
know
Don't
when
mess
I
with him
got
and his
it.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
He knew right away. 1955.
The time I donated the bottle of Four Roses, I ended up drinking with your grandfather for a good, decent amount of time, and your dad. And he pulled out a piece of paper from his wallet that had all the people from his poker games and their phone numbers way back in the day. The paper was almost orange. That's how old it was. He's like, oh, yeah. And he's just running down like, oh, yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah, his memory is amazing.
Old school.
So then I started trying to do the math, and Pat, you're going to be able to help me with this for sure, because when I talked about it last night, everybody was like, I don't know.
I'm gonna check it on the calculator. Pat, so
It's a 12-year-old Scotch.
Okay.
He got it in 55. I assumed that it was probably made in maybe 40, 41, 42. And if that being the case, doing the math, it
Thanks,
was
Chef.
at minimum 70 years old, probably almost
That made me nervous. Good toss.
almost 80.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I don't know why I got off on that tangent other than
I'm sorry, almost 80 years old. Sorry.
Yeah,
he threw
you
that
brought
bottle
up-
of
you
water.
brought up.
It
Yeah.
took me to
What did
another
it taste
level.
like?
so it tasted a lot like Macallan 18.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I could say 21. I've only had 21 a handful of times.
So it didn't lose a ton of its flavor in the bottle.
None
Because
what-
normally you age those in barrels, not bottles.
None whatsoever.
The aging like only counts in the barrels.
Yeah.
Right, I get that, but I'm saying like I was very curious. Like if I kept that bottle of 1910 for 20 years, would it keep the same flavor profile, or would it go to like, okay, well we can clean with this now?
I was cleaning out the house, and I said, I'm gonna throw this away. And my dad said, your grandfather would kill you.
Yeah,
You're talking about the pinch?
I'm glad you
Yeah.
didn't throw that away. That would have been absurd.
Well, he has another bottle in his house just sitting in the basement.
Oh,
It's
so there's
As
two.
long as it's secured properly, it's not going to do a darn thing.
it's
You
to it.
can't imagine that one is sealed properly.
upright.
That's a screw cut.
That's what Jeff just says. It has to be stored upright.
Oh, so just don't lay it on its side or upside down.
Correct.
Okay.
So not like wine.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, not
Good to know.
Yeah. So Jeff says as long as you store it upright, it's going to be fine.
So was
How about
that
the light?
upright when you
I
found
feel
it?
like the light would have some.
Yes,
sort
it
of
was. It
effect.
I know
had,
it does
a
with
lot of
beer.
dust.
I just don't know if it. Jeff, do you know? Does light affect the aging from the bottle? Okay, so I got to keep it in a dark place.
darker is better.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put a blanket over my shelf.
You'll have sunlight in it. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And you don't want like a big temperature.
Sunlight. Okay, not regular light. Okay.
You don't want a big temperature range.
Just gonna put curtains on it.
Yeah. I'm sure we're heading towards an entire like bourbon.
Cellar.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a problem. I'm already thinking I have to figure something else out because that one shelf is quickly becoming not enough.
got room on
I'm
the
gonna
other
have to
side
come
of the
over
TV.
someday. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to figure something out over here. I mean, there's
Yeah.
potential.
I mean, we have to start having some meetings every now and then. Period. So, and maybe we'll put shelves just all over the walls.
I just bought a new bookcase for all mine.
Did you?
I'm
Yeah.
running out of room.
Yeah, that had DVDs on it, and I was like, who needs DVDs?
I will say that this is my favorite by far. So far.
Honestly, it's pretty close to me for this in the 1870.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty close on that. I've got a toss up there.
I just like the after.
I was wondering what you were.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm actually going to make a mark here that I might have to do like a very small taste of those at the end.
I was just gonna say the same
Just the
thing. I'd
split
like
hairs.
to.
Yeah.
After tasting.
Now I wonder if it's even gonna matter with the next two.
Well,
Okay.
I have a
It will.
I have
They're
a
so
hard
different.
time. I have a hard time imagining that either of these are going to beat those, but I still want to get it distinguished between those two.
And again, it might depend on your palate. Part of this is we certainly don't expect or think that our rankings are going to all be the same. And if they are all the same, then we have.
I think we're
failed.
gonna.
I think they're all gonna
We
be
have
similar.
failed.
I think they're all gonna be similar.
I think they're going to be pretty close.
I mean, I think it's pretty distinct right now the difference between each one. I think we're all in a
Well, and I think it
agreement
speaks. I think it speaks volumes about Old Forester and what they do with their price points. To be honest with you, I think they maybe have done besides
Besides
that.
the Statesman.
Besides the Statesman, which just throw that up against the wall. Besides that, I think they've done a pretty good job with where they price them out at.
What's this one priced at?
So this one is going to be 50 or 55. This one is 45 or 50.
Yeah. So, let's
Jeff,
be.
what did you pay for that 1897? Do you remember? Is it like 50 or 55? Because the 1920 is definitely 60, and it's just right below that. I remember that. So he said yes for those. Who
All right,
didn't
is
hear.
everybody done with the 1897?
I'm already pouring the next one. So.
Unfortunately.
And remember what I told you about? Like, I need a little hair of the dog. Like I was going through withdrawal. Yeah, I feel great now.
Shakes are gone. Shakes are gone, folks.
Feel good. My alcoholism is kicked into full gear. Let's go. Son of a bitch. My liver left years ago.
All right, I can't wait to talk about 1910 because
You got some nuggets here?
Such a cool story.
Oh, man, I'm excited for this because I just kind of got the overall history. I didn't dive into each one of these. I'm really glad you did.
Okay, so 1910. In 1910, their bottling line shut down because of a fire. Now, this is the original batch we're talking about. Okay, shuts down because of a fire. So they had already dumped several barrels ready to be bottled. Well, they didn't want to just lose all that product. So while they were restoring the bottling line, they decided they would barrel it again in new oak, right? Mm-hmm. Which no one would ever do that because how expensive is that to do?
So the barrels got jacked up, so they put it into another new barrel.
Well, no, the barrels didn't get jacked up. They already had the product dumped for bottling. The bottling line had a fire.
Okay.
So they couldn't bottle. So they had to make a decision. We have this product ready to bottle right now. What are we going to do with it? Because we can't bottle.
Yeah.
So somebody came up with the idea, well, we still have these barrels here. Let's leave the other stuff over there, if that makes any sense. And let's just put it in barrels so we don't lose it, which to me makes complete sense.
Well, it was a genius move. What else were you going to do?
Move, right? So they double barrel, and then the end product ends up coming out to be something that everybody's like, wow, this is unique.
Yeah.
And we're going to taste it here real soon if you guys are already doing. So it brings out a lot more, in my opinion, a lot more of the barrel flavor. You get a lot more oakiness out of it. I really love it, but it's still made this way. So it's, as far as I know, it's the only bourbon still made that they double barrel. That's why the price point is where it is.
Well, and then my question would be, he was nodding his head yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I figured he was back there making signs. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, but you're you are famous for looking back there to see what the peanut gallery is doing. You're like, who else?
I'm always waiting. What's going on?
So I don't think you like people behind you.
I don't.
So
I should probably be over there so I can see everything that's going on.
Like Italian,
You don't
can't have
you
your
don't
back
want
to the
what's
door.
going on.
But so then my question is, do you think that is how they started doing these other experimental things like Trey does, where he ages it in these
Yes.
barrels and then goes to a wine barrel? Do you think that's like kind of where all that that came from?
I think absolutely.
Innovation?
Yeah. I completely think that for sure because
That happened in 1910, right?
right.
So
So the fire happened in 1910 and they've been doing it ever since.
And Mr. Brown made this for his own personal consumption. That's how this started.
So Jeff just said the 1910, how that started was he made it for his own personal consumption. It was just his. And it's excellent. I mean, just on the nose already.
So
Very complex flavor, I would say.
On the nose even, it's just complex, man.
There's a lot going on.
Like I feel like all those pictures that you had up there,
you
it was
get
all in
A
there.
lot of fruit.
Yeah, a lot of fruit.
I remember this one specifically from the tasting,
Yeah.
and I remember not liking it.
Really?
And I still don't like it.
You still don't like
You
it?
don't like
I
it?
do not like it at all.
Wow.
I'm getting a lot of banana, I'll be honest.
Didn't you say Banana Forster
yes.
in the one we were
Foster's,
talking?
Foster's, yeah.
Foster, yeah, Banana
A lot of
Foster,
banana.
yeah.
Or we could say since we're doing a Forster tasting Banana Forster. I mean, that would be more apropos.
Well, I'm just happy to know my bourbon more than I know my desserts.
Very good, though.
You don't like this at all?
I'm having a hard time getting it down.
Really?
I do
Have you
not
added
like
water
it.
yet?
You know what?
I did.
You already put water in
I
it?
put water in it, and I do not
You could
like
just
it.
pour
I
it
feel
in
like
this one.
I feel like Bad Manny's coming out right now.
Bad Manny.
Bad Manny.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
I feel I
No,
feel
like I said, I might, if I drink more of it, I might
Yeah.
change my mind. But I mean, I specifically remember having one that I hated on the trail,
and you're pretty sure this
and
is
this
it.
is I remember this flavor exactly.
Maybe
and I
But
do
this
not
is
like it.
I feel
it's-
like you could split that between the rest of us, and we wouldn't be upset.
It's
Coronavirus be damned.
It's such a departure from the other two because of the double barreling, though. This
Yeah.
is the same mash bill as 1870. The difference is they're double barreling it.
And it's wildly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, wildly
it's amazing
different.
the
Yeah.
difference that makes.
Yeah. Ah, man.
I'm really intrigued
It's
by it.
completely
But
different.
I'll
from
tell
the
you what,
rest of
I'm-
what we tried.
Even though I disagree with you, I am very glad that you are that adamant that you do not
I just
like
don't
it at
like
all.
it.
Yeah, I like that. That's
I'll
going to mix
tell you
things
right
up.
now, I don't like it.
Steve doesn't like it. Doesn't like that reaction at all. He's throwing bottles.
That's fine. I ain't a bullshitter. I'll tell you straight up.
That's-
what
hey,
I
you
like,
tell-
what I
how it
don't
should
like.
be.
Tell it, brother. Tell it.
There we go. We got the Pat laugh in there.
Maybe you just like a simpler tasting bourbon.
Are you calling me basic?
Well, I mean, yeah,
Simple.
yeah,
I believe he called you simple.
No,
Am I a simpleton now?
I'm saying like you like
He called me big. His eyes were real big too.
you don't.
I just don't like it. I get a lot of the sweet, and I don't like sweet bourbons.
It is sweet. It is.
It is sweet. It is sweet. But this sweet I can live with. I think it might be my number one so far. I don't expect it to win
hard
out.
to-
But
I'm not gonna agree with that, but I mean we're not here to agree on what our rankings are.
No,
But
no.
I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy it because it's different. It's different bourbon than
I
the
think-
normal bourbon.
I think that's part of what it is for me. Is it tastes so much different than most things that I've had. It's the same way I feel about that new riff. I feel like that new riff tastes so much different than a lot of bourbon I've had, and I really enjoyed it for that reason as well. I am surprised because I definitely felt like me and Manny were definitely vibing on. We don't like the sweet. We up until this point, it seemed like we had very similar palates, and I think we still do.
I agree.
I think this one just has a different something about the taste.
Now I wonder if I put it on a cube,
yeah,
if it would make a difference.
like we said, some people.
I think it would.
Yeah,
I think the other thing you have to take into consideration is the double barreling. I really believe brings out a completely different profile in the bourbon than aging it 6, 7, 8 years in the same barrel. I really do.
I still haven't even put water in this, and I'm like,
I haven't
I'm like,
either.
oh shit, I have to.
I'm pouring water into it,
That's
trying
what
to get
I'm
it down.
I believe Manny actually poured the bourbon into a bottle of water.
He was like, you know what, this is gonna just add a little flavor to my water.
Am I the only
Jacob,
one
you
who
like it a
doesn't
lot?
it?
I like it better than 1870.
You know, and again, it bears repeating. 93 proof, probably the hardest of what we're tasting tonight to find, other than the two we don't have here, which is
Yeah.
the presidential and the birthday bourbon.
I gotta say, to me, this is one like we always talk about. Most of the time, you get the most flavor out of the big boy bourbons. But we always say that Buffalo Trace is really good at not being a big boy bourbon and packing all that flavor in. I would have to say that Old Forester 1910 is another one of those. 93 proof.
Has a lot of flavor.
A lot of flavor.
I will agree with that. A lot of flavor.
It's just not a flavor you
It's just
like.
not a flavor I enjoy.
Yeah, because it does. It's crazy how much flavor that's packing in at 93 proof.
So funny how Jeff just joined us about a half hour ago, and he had to text me about whether or not I brought up the story about when Pat Spiess and I were drinking at one of the kids' graduation parties, which you remembered which kid. Angels.
Steve didn't remember which.
Wait. Well, he said it was Jake.
He was too busy.
Yeah.
He's too
He
busy
said,
working.
but
Too
it's
busy.
funny. He said might have been Angels Envy Rye,
Oh, it definitely was Angels.
It
It
was
was
and he
Rye.
said I was pissed because they drank it all.
I wasn't pissed because I was participating.
I know. Yeah, we were the ones who drank it all.
We
It was
didn't
great.
leave the
It was
table the
great.
entire night.
No, it was awesome.
I could see Jeff sitting there going, guys, we're gonna drink this whole bottle.
Oh, it wasn't him either. It wasn't him. We just
And I could see someone say, "Hey, should we save some for Steve?" And Jeff said, "Fuck him."
Jeff, what did you say?
I said these guys were young.
yeah, no, I remember you being surprised that I liked it.
Pat might have been 20.
With
One.
21.
21.
Oh, I'm sorry, 21.
21.
21.
That was probably 21.
I will remember that was the first time that I drank bourbon heavily.
Well,
But
and
that was a sweet one. And if you're just starting, it was
Yeah.
probably delicious.
well, that's
was.
that's
It was
exactly what
great.
I was gonna say. Like
Delicious.
being surprised that they were.
Delicious.
Yeah, well, it's because they just downed a $100 bottle of fucking rye. They had straws in the bottle. It was fucked up. But I would say that's almost, even though it's a $100 bottle, it's almost the perfect bottle to give somebody that's new because it is so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just, I mean, again, the only reason I was upset is they just didn't say me any. You know,
couldn't get a
I had to settle
I thought
for.
we tried to grab you a few times.
Yeah,
but
you
you were
probably did. I was.
a little bit of effort, right? I mean,
they
it's
went
better
like
than
this.
doing nothing.
Here's what happened.
Steve.
Yeah,
Oh,
here's
never
what
mind,
happened.
never mind.
They went,
You're busy.
Too busy.
Steve? He
You
can't
didn't
hear
hear
me. He's busy.
He seems to be enjoying himself. We shouldn't bother him.
Emptying garbage.
We did get into the Jefferson Reserve, I think. Too.
We did.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember
Oh
that
yeah.
too.
I
thought-
specifically remember Jeff saying, "Try this one."
Actually, if
now."
I remember
And it was
correctly, Jeff brought one of the bottles out.
not nearly as good.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff brought both the bottles.
Yeah. oh, I guarantee he did.
You see, this is why I
full
drink
advantage
bourbon
of
now.
that.
I didn't have a choice.
Oh,
I hung around with these guys too much and wouldn't trade it for the world.
Even though this is a complete side story, before we get to this 1920, did you guys already pour the 1920?
No,
did
no,
not.
I'm still loving this
Same.
1910.
I still have some, but I wanted to tell you, I got Tommy last night when we were drinking. I was like, "Hey, let's do some Blanton's, but we're gonna do it neat." He's like, "Oh no, I can't drink things neat." And I was like, "Tommy, try it. If you don't like it, we can add some of this fucking stupid Kentucky water I got." So he did. He tried it neat, and he's like, "Oh, I will only drink Blanton's neat now."
And I'm surprised on the last podcast we did, he didn't have any neat. I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention. He didn't drink any of those neat that we were drinking.
Well, the tasting he did.
Oh, okay.
The tasting he did,
Yeah.
but
otherwise, he just won't do it.
he was just thinking like, I do that for the tasting so that we can try to. He doesn't know what the fuck. He's here to drink bourbon with us. But I think he's like, I'm do this for the tasting, stuff like that. But I'm going to always drink it on a rock. And
Gotcha.
He'd never drank something like Blanton's neat, and so he finally did. And then he's like, okay, yeah.
In
I'll
his
only drink
defense,
neat.
I will say as a kid, when I grew up, all I wanted to do was drink scotch and smoke cigars. I thought that was the coolest thing on the planet. Cigars came naturally. That was easy.
But you didn't know about bourbon, so that's why you were saying Scotch.
Yes,
'Cause that's how I was.
You know, as a kid, I saw the scotch, and I just figured it was scotch.
And it was way more popular when
Yeah.
when he was in his
you watch any
impressionist
movie,
age,
and
yeah.
It's all Scotch. Yeah.
And so I always wanted to do
Prohibition
it,
almost
but I
killed
could
bourbon.
not drink any dark liquor.
oh, really?
And actually, it's funny because my grandfather, we were sitting at the country club one time, and he said, "You got to put a cube in it, and then if you don't like it, put another cube in it and dilute it until you kind of build up the flavor." And so that's how I started. Originally, I remember it was Basil Hayden's. I think it was a member guest. A long time ago, I put a couple cubes in Basil Hayden, which isn't hard to drink.
No, it's very easy to drink.
Yeah,
And
I'm not.
nice product. It's a nice product.
I'm not a massive fan of it. I'd rather
For the
pay
price.
$10 for a benchmark than I would $40 for the Basil Hayden's.
But what we were talking about earlier with now that we've had this and that, and is it a palate thing or I disagree. I kind of taught myself to like it
That's true. So
because I just hung around with everybody and it just was there, and
yeah,
and eventually it just kind of stuck.
Makes total sense.
And
I
it's
agree.
so funny
Which-
because now you're 24 and
Pat,
you
you
can
were-
sit here and drink bourbon. That's crazy to me.
I
Like
marked you
said,
down as
I
number
wouldn't-
one.
I would never be able
That's
to do
fine.
that. Oh, Steve, you're winning so far.
2-1.
Well, I'm curious too to see if
I don't
the
think
flavor
that's a good thing.
profiles, if that's because it seems like all of you guys just picked it up naturally and it was easy, and so I wonder if since
It's not natural. It's,
Wow.
well, I mean, but no,
I
you're
think
right.
It's very natural.
What's natural for me is alcohol.
Well, fair point, but
I'm a fan, but no.
I wonder if that's why my palate might be different than your guys's.
I think
I don't know that it even is different. The only difference we've had palate-wise tonight is 1910.
I don't know about that. We'll see in the ratings.
Yeah,
But,
well,
I think
yeah.
me and you have similar palates, but I will say I think the reason I was able to jump into bourbon and other things right away and kind of notice the different flavors is because I did that for so long with beer. I was so deep into the craft beer world that I was always trying to find those slightly different tastes. You know what I mean?
I
Because
know exactly what you mean.
And he was deep. Like he was.
I ran
he was
restaurants that
and
had-
he was committing crimes all the time. Underworld.
I ran restaurants. I knew a bunch of the brewers. Like you can see, I actually threw about I don't know how many boxes of bottles away because I was like, there's no reason for me to keep all these bottles. I've tried more beer than I will ever remember in my life. That's a problem. All right, I'm an alcoholic. I'm going to leave the podcast now, and I'm going to go to an AA meeting. Thank you.
This might be an AA meeting.
Yes.
I mean, really,
This might be a fucked up AA meeting. We got liquor everywhere.
That's kind of
We can just finish and then just branch off into an AA
AA
meeting.
meeting just immediately afterwards. Okay, this is my first day.
I believe it's all about recognizing. I think that's step one. I don't know.
I'm recognizing that it's delicious.
Yeah.
That's what I'm recognizing.
delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so we're going to get into what we like to classify as a
Big boy.
Big boy bourbon.
Old Forester 1920
Big boy.
Prohibition Style.
And I think it's still in
I will
my
free
top
pour.
5, to be honest with you, for
thought we were doing that for a
accessible
while.
bottles like Blanton stuff like that. Like obviously, probably every Pappy might be above it, but maybe. I can't say that because I've only had one, and that Pappy was above it. But I'm not going to have a bottle of Pappy, so I don't even list it in my top 5 because I'm not going to have it.
So you're able to get this? I haven't been looking for it.
Oh, 1920?
Yeah.
Come
I mean,
to
up,
Wintersville, bro.
up in Cleveland. I live in Cleveland now, and where I go, I have nothing.
All right,
Really?
I got a really good nugget about this one. All right, so it remains the only bourbon distillery that is
My fucking mess. My fucking mess. Here, you take that from me while I go. I gotta go
Holy
get a straw.
shit. I think he did that on purpose so he could sneak and take a piss.
Heavy pour with this one.
Heavy pour.
Stop
All right.
measuring a while ago.
All right. So clearly they made this specific mash when Prohibition started. And here's the crazy thing about it is they're the only bourbon company, the only distillery that was making bourbon during Prohibition and is still doing it today. There's not
Buffalo Trace?
Nope. Buffalo Trace has changed names several times.
Oh, same name. See, that's the.
They still produced bourbon during Prohibition.
Yes.
where they
Only
get ya.
only distillery ever.
How'd that
There
happen?
were 10 distilleries total that
Yeah.
still did during Prohibition because it was for medicinal purposes.
So they're the only. Are they
Dr.
the only,
Forster?
You gotta love the 20s.
only ones with the same name?
You gotta love the 20s.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
I know
how it still isn't a
Buffalo
thing.
Trace did, but
I
they
love
weren't.
doctors.
Changed.
They
wasn't-
changed names multiple times.
Yeah, it wasn't. Back then, it wasn't the same name. It may have been H&H back then.
They
I
were
don't
H&H
know.
at one point. They were Stag.
Yeah.
You want 1910?
But I need to try the 1920.
No, 1920. Sorry.
So,
Make sure we like it.
I poured so much bourbon on the table
So,
that it actually changed the color of the table.
115 proof. I wouldn't say it's the flagship because I think the two bourbons that we aren't tasting today probably are their flagship. But
To me, I would say it's the flagship because it's the one that's more accessible.
I agree with you.
Well, yeah, I think it's if you're looking for a bottle of Old Forester, I think it should be. Unless you're not ready for the big boy bourbon, I would say it's the bottle you should be looking for. $60, well worth the price. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
Jacob, you got to get some of this.
Yeah,
So much flavor.
and
I
on the
don't know.
nose, by far the best nose. By far the best nose.
Very good flavor.
I feel like I'm on the golf course.
So a couple other little nuggets why we taste this, so we don't have dead air.
I do have to say real quick too. I'm obviously have always golfed wrong, and maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. Because all you guys talk about is bourbon and golf being intertwined.
That's why you never enjoyed it.
So, yeah, you can golf right with this 1920. You'll never golf wrong again with the 1920.
Yeah. Fuck, I gotta go start golfing. Who's got clubs?
I got some extra in my basement.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, I can give you an entire set. I mean, I'm sure they got 17 sets in their basement. I know this motherfucker back here over my left shoulder has 40.
I think I hit somebody with a golf club one time, and that's like my no. I actually did. I played golf a few times, but I never drank on the
Yeah,
golf
that's right.
course.
Jeff-
I don't know what I was thinking.
Jeff forgot the most important point. Jeff just brought up the flask.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
That's what you
Yeah.
need. A little swing lube.
I'm gonna be the worst. I'm gonna be out there with a flask and a Glencairn.
Hey, this kid right here.
People are gonna hate me.
You give him a 4-iron and a couple Bud Heavies.
Bud Heavies, a 4-iron, number 3 at the country club. I will hit the purest shot ever.
Oh, that's good to know. I mean, I could win money off of that, Pat.
You can try.
You can win money off everything.
I'm telling you, it's pure.
But Bud Heavy is actually my favorite kicker to bourbon.
Yeah.
Like just have a Bud Heavy sitting there with my bourbon just to take a swip.
It's funny you
swig
guys
of-
bring
Mouth
that
to
up.
wash out.
Yeah.
It's funny you guys bring that up because, I mean, it is one of my go-to.
Well, what did
Wow.
you say?
Listen, my dad was making fun of me today. He
Mouth
said,
the
"You're-"
washout.
He said, "You're going to have a hard time. You can't form sentences." The last 2 days, I couldn't talk.
And you just
Now-
that is
now
what
I
you
said yes.
That is
That's
what
what
you
He's
just said, right?
articulate as you could possibly be.
He said mouth the
That's
washout.
why he's the smart one.
That's why we brought you two together.
He's the smart one.
Oh my god.
You gotta. I mean, we have to make
love
sure.
this podcast.
We have to make sure our guests.
Are as balanced as the bourbon we drink?
Right.
There you go.
Right.
How's that for a bullshit answer?
Right.
This fucking guy.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a little nugget right now. I've got like 7 nuggets.
You've got a lot of nuggets over
I
there.
got a lot of nuggets. All right.
He's definitely our historian.
So in 1941, Old Forester was the only and first, I shouldn't say only, but first, to deliver products, and by products I mean obviously
Bourbon.
alcohol, bourbon, to the soldiers. So they shut down their normal process of delivering to, anywhere in the United States, and they only shipped everything to all the World War II soldiers overseas.
Oh, wait. Repeat that. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
got sidetracked looking at my list.
First distillery to deliver high product alcohol to help the World War II effort.
That's fucking awesome.
Isn't it?
I bet it really helped.
I'm
Fuck yeah.
sure
Well,
it did.
they didn't have. We said World War II.
Yes.
Oh, never mind. They probably had decent doctors. I'm thinking of Civil War and stuff like that. Like,
Mallets
yes.
and saws.
Yeah. Like, yep. Give them bourbon.
I'll
Makes
tell you what,
sense.
that would have worked, though.
Yeah.
Now, in 1962, they created the first single barrel bourbon. They were the first distillery to ever do it.
And now they don't do one regularly.
No.
Now they do it every once in a while for special barrel picks for states and stuff.
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy. Actually, I'm sorry, that brought up Jeff. What barrel did you get?
Of what?
Barrel distillery.
I got the New Year 2020.
Fuck. So we might have 2 New Years.
If he goes back and gets me the other one.
What?
But I can.
Tell him to do dovetail or something. Because I got the single barrel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who else got the New Year?
he did.
Who did?
Steve, if he goes back and gets it.
Get the batch 23. I heard it's great.
BJ, if you're listening, get the batch 23.
Definitely gonna be too late.
Wait, you can't put this on right now?
Actually, no. Hey, where's my phone? I'll call him right now on air. Oh, my phone is right there. It's being used as a camera. Son of a bitch. That would have been great to have
we
on
will
air.
rely on the peanut gallery to do that.
Yeah, but that would have been great to have on air, actually. Like, hey, BJ, you're on air.
All right, so another little nugget. So 2002, they decided to come out with what they call the birthday bourbon,
Okay.
which is the 156th birthday of George Garvin Brown.
Oh, shit.
who's a motherfucker.
No one likes him anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
GGB.
Listen, that son of a bitch could dunk a basketball like
I was
you
gonna say, he
wouldn't
sounds
believe.
like
I know
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like just
That was his actual. You said that was. It wasn't that guy that has his name George Garvin,
George
the
Garvin
basketball
Brown.
player. But I'm saying the
No.
basketball player.
Oh,
George Gervin.
George Gervin,
Yeah.
San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Finger
The
roll.
Iceman. The
Yeah,
Iceman.
Yeah,
this is way before my time.
yeah. It's way before my time, brother.
2019 they introduced, and I said earlier I thought it was early 2000. It was 2019 they reintroduced the rye. So that's a really new product.
Oh no
That's
shit!
hard
Yeah.
to believe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. What do they have an age on here?
I don't think they do.
Keep talking while I look, because otherwise,
Well,
I'm just.
I mean, the only other thing I have to add is that the current owner his name is Campbell Brown. He is 5th generation from George Brown, which
Yeah.
is really cool. So it's still all in the family.
Well, not just that, the family, because it is a publicly traded company. But I did get this on my notes as well. I should have brought them over here, but I left them over there. They still own 70% of voting shares. The original family.
Nice.
Wow.
That's fucking. They're publicly traded, and the original family still owns 70% of voting shares. That's fucking crazy.
Boss status right there.
That's boss as fuck.
I don't give a
and
shit.
You own Jack Daniels. It's the number one whiskey. It's the number one selling American whiskey in the world. It's not our favorite, but it's still the number one selling whiskey in the world, and technically a bourbon.
Right. But the other cool thing about having Pat and Manny on is we have somebody here that's actually been to the Whiskey Row Distillery.
Yeah.
To somebody.
Pat was there too.
You were there too.
Oh, I was there.
I didn't know that.
I thought you were about
That
to
was
say.
an insult.
was
He was
there.
disappointed in you.
I thought he was
About to throw hands.
Wow. I got a dirty look.
he just knocks the bottles off the table.
I'm out of here.
Listen, you-
Flipping tables.
That's what happens when me and Steve go to a
Sorry,
restaurant.
Pat.
They don't have rocks.
Sorry.
that's all right.
All right, Pat. So you were on the Bourbon Trail.
Yes.
Who did you go on the Bourbon Trail
I'm the
with?
only person here that hasn't been on the bourbon trail.
My mom.
Sounds
Okay.
like we need a
and
trip.
I thought you were going to say that, and I was hoping you were going to say that because, your mom and I went to school together. I love your mom, and she's so cool. And I was thinking that she would probably go on that Bourbon Trail with you. And so we took Brady last year. He was old enough to go, and it was one of the first things I thought because he's an old soul.
He means-
like you guys, he loves
He
bourbon.
means he got him a fake ID. No,
He
I'm just
loves
kidding.
bourbon, and I was like one of the first things I thought I could do for him after he became of age. Oh, I'm going to take you on the
You're a
bourbon
good
trail.
father.
Yeah,
Great father, not
Yeah.
just a good.
yeah. I've never even been on a vacation, so I think my first one is going to end up being to Kentucky.
Well, I feel like if we can't do it this fall, depending on how this whole virus shit pans out.
Well, the distilleries are opening back up this week, so
Changes things.
changes things a lot. And we just recently found a guy that looks exactly like me, who also has a bourbon podcast.
He's a little heavier.
Well,
He's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
heavier.
I think he might be a little heavier, but we look so much alike. It's freakish.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Last night he had this picture pulled up on his phone, and I was peeking over his shoulder. I said, "Is that Dave?"
yeah. Isn't that crazy?
The
And
beard.
literally, Jeff, how I found this guy was I joined a bunch of the bourbon Facebook groups so that I could post the podcast to it, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing the exact same thing. And he lives in Indiana, and he is down to maybe do like a meetup podcast. So Kentucky might be the perfect way to do it.
You guys got to get together.
We cross brand Bastards of Bourbon and Drink Pro.
Did your mother travel when she was younger?
I'm weirdly starting to think my mom was a whore. I'm just kidding, Mom. I love you.
Oh, Tammy, I'll tell you, I'm not participating in this at all, Tammy. Just so you know.
We even have like very similar glasses, let alone beard color, let alone. He actually looks like the exact mixture of me and a friend of ours. Well, not ours, but a friend of mine, Bryce, said he looks like the mixture of us. But I've already talked to him, and he is down to do a crossover podcast with Bastards of Bourbon. Yeah, I've talked to him.
Be a hell of a podcast.
That'd be great.
Especially if we met in Kentucky.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
You kidding me?
Let's get that done.
We're gonna need 17 microphones. He's
Let's
gonna be like,
get that done.
He's gonna be like, I just brought me, and we're like, oh no, we brought a lot of people.
Just have a crowd mic, just pass it around.
The two of you, it's like a family reunion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Scary.
That's insane. But yeah, so hopefully we get that going. Drink Pro. What's his actual name? Scroll up. So I want to give him a shout out. His name's Dave. His name
Kyle
Kyle
Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher. Shout out to Kyle Fletcher. Shout out to Drink Pro. Hopefully we get together. We do a crossover episode. Tommy actually said last night, he said that guy's name is Avid Dammer. I hate Tommy. Oh my God.
Oh, come on, Tommy.
It could be.
Tommy's here.
I'm pretty sure I actually know the answer to that one. I'm not going to say it on air. Rest in peace. I love you, Pops.
Tommy's here, actually. If you can hear him in the background there.
Oh, there he is. He's playing his
So
saxophone.
soothing, Tommy.
He's playing his saxophone. There it is. We got him. Thank you for showing up, Tommy. Tommy, 2 phones, saxophone in the pocket.
Saxophone
It's like
or
Ron Burgundy with the
saxophone
Yaz.
or water bong. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure when we first got the picture of that, somebody said, hey, get the one with the pipe.
I mean, we're using a crack pipe as a fucking water dropper anyhow.
A clean one, though. Extremely clean.
Extremely clean. Listen, I like to keep things neat. As you can tell by
all
my
right.
bourbon.
Neat like bourbon.
So let's go back to the 1920. Let's bring let's bring it back.
Well,
Let's
what's
bring it
hilarious
back.
is I don't think any of us really needed to talk about the 1920, as far as I know, for me, because I already,
I think we've Pat, have you had this before? I think it's your first time, right?
I've never had any of these 8
really
ever.
Wow.
Really?
This is why I'm really glad to be here.
Oh,
tonight.
shit. I did not
never
know
had
that.
Any of them.
No shit, man. That you just went through a nice little treat then.
Big treat.
so with the
Huge treat.
so with the 1920, which I am amazed about always, 113, 115.
115.
I don't even know where it is. What are you guys hiding it from me?
I think one of those
They
guys stole it.
They stole it.
No, that's
We almost finished your bottle there, Steve.
Well, that's okay. That's what it was meant for. But it's full of flavor, and it just
That
it's
stop
going to
recording?
depend on where your palate is. But I get obviously a lot of caramel. I get toasted notes out of it.
Well done, Jacob.
Just a little bit of. I don't know if I'm weird here, but I get some cinnamon on the back end.
I get a little cinnamon.
I get that.
I'll tell you, it's never on the tasting note. Oh, no, it actually is on this one. Maple syrup. Maple is what I get from this every time. And my favorite thing to show people with the water, doing the water trick, is you get a little bit of it, like the sweetness on the smell. And then whenever I add water to it, every time, it's very distinctly maple to me.
Yeah.
Every time.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it's
and go ahead.
as complex as a 1910, minus the sweetness.
Yes.
All the
Completely
flavor.
agree.
All the flavor minus the sweetness.
Yeah.
So, do you like this one because it doesn't have the sweetness?
Oh no, I like this one. I've had this one before.
Okay,
This is
so-
a good one.
so
this is one of those ones when I tried it at first, I wasn't a big boy yet.
You weren't ready.
Now I'm a big boy.
At 20, Steve somehow has already made this gentleman a big boy at 24.
Well, take it now. Come on now. Come on.
At 24. Man, you guys are in for a very long and enjoyable life.
Well, and I think both Pat and Manny are definitely big boy bourbon drinkers for sure.
Oh no, I was pleasantly surprised because I don't know either of you that well. I've had a few conversations with you randomly here and there. I think I met one time
Cigar
at
bar.
Garden Grill.
Yeah.
But I was very pleasantly surprised by you guys' input and palate. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I was
Listen,
excited to have younger guys on. Period. And then you guys like over exceeded my expectations.
And I'm gonna toot my own horn.
Just flipping me off.
I'm gonna toot my own horn because Dave and I were like, okay, who are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna get? who we going to do is really.
Hold on.
Easy,
Calm down. there.
Easy
Calm
now.
down.
Not a great way to word
Easy
it.
now, Tiger. Scary saying those words. What I meant to say is
It was the people we're going to fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
I've got two really good guys that I think would be great guests for this, and of course I think it's gonna come out to be a really good.
I think it is too.
For sure.
And I'm glad I didn't even question it. I'm glad I didn't. I didn't question it at all, and I'm glad I didn't because you were spot on. And they didn't come in time, but I do have shirts for both of you.
Excellent.
They've been ordered, so
It's exciting. I always like listen to, like I said, the Jeffersons. Before that, I listened to all the Bastards of Bourbon, and even before that, the
when it
Gathering
was
of
just
Fools.
me and
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah.
I enjoyed it because it was nice because most of the ones you guys drank, I've tried before, so it was cool to kind of hear.
And get an idea of like what these
What
other
other
people
people
think
think,
of
correct.
it,
Yeah.
and more of an in-depth conversation than sometimes what you're having at the bar when you just taste
Right.
it and you're like, "This is fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. The last one, that Jefferson's, and now it really intrigued me because I think Jefferson's might be my favorite, just line as far as I don't think I've ever had a Jefferson's that I dislike.
Yeah.
The Jefferson.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, it's impressive the line that they have, but I would throw Buffalo Trace up there. I haven't really had anything from Buffalo Trace. I
I agree
just
with
like
you.
including that benchmark in the plastic bottle, which I'm gonna need you to grab that because I want you to try it.
I don't know if I want to try that.
You
Though.
do. You
Do
do.
I?
Yeah, Jeff,
So
that benchmark.
After you're done.
I mean,
After
just so
the
you're
tasting,
aware,
it's really surprising. I'm not saying it's gonna be your favorite. I'm just
just
saying
wa-
you're gonna be shocked at the
Price
was-
point too.
I
Yeah.
think it was $10, right?
$10 a fifth.
I remember you guys talking about it.
Yeah, you'll be shocked. You'll be surprised.
He got me to try it. I mean, I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it's
I-
excellent.
Extremely good for the price point.
I
Right.
think it's both. I mean, it's important that both of them know that the shirts that you ordered for them are actually wife beaters.
Well, yeah,
Okay. All right.
and they actually have stains on them. Yeah,
Pre-stained.
pasta, pre-stained,
Pre-stained.
Pre-stained
All
wife
pasta.
beaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could have done that myself, though. I mean, come on now.
Well, you figured we get you started, and then
We are bastards
I mean-
after all.
So we have little bastards, and big bastards, and we determined that in the last podcast.
yeah, yep. And we're the big bastards.
Right.
So that narrows it down and makes us
Yeah,
little
no, we're
bastards.
little
Well,
bastards.
I mean, it's your first time on. Now, who knows?
No, would you rather be a little or a big bastard?
I don't know. I think either one is both pretty cool.
He's up for either.
As long as you say little,
Little bastard.
Intellectual
Pretty
over
shit.
there.
All right, hey, guess what I have to do?
Go to the bathroom.
Oh my God. Where's the abacus? Hey, Jacob, turn the abacus. Put another bead on his line.
See, I thought I was bad. You thought I was bad.
I think that's number 4. Is that 4?
Listen, no, Steve's peed his pants 3 times tonight. He just hasn't got up to get to the bathroom.
I do have I have an inside track to get Depends. So I may or may not be wearing one right now.
Hey, more power to you.
Convenient.
All right, so Pat's 1, Manny's 2, Dave is 3, or are we at 4 for Dave?
He's at 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna be.
I'm starting to get worried that I haven't peed.
Listen, I'm gonna be quick after. It's been a long day. It was a long day of golf. Dehydrated.
Right.
Tried my best to come in. Yeah, talk shit. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm not
Send
talking.
it.
Nope, I won't do it. All right, so we're gonna do rankings, but before we do rankings,
In order of urination.
I feel like we should go ahead and have the Ocean's 13, and we're gonna put this on the rankings. I'm gonna make an executive decision right
Don't
now.
do this. You're gonna
Yeah.
just ruin it all.
I know. That's what I'm here for. I'm a ruiner.
We're bastards. Self-destructing bastards, remember.
We have just enough Ocean's 13, Jeff. You could probably partake if you'd like.
I think Jeff can have some.
I've still got some 1870 here. So I want to finish it.
Just for reference, too, I believe that this is
Bring it in.
about 3 years old. I think I've had this for about 3 years.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah.
And I've been saving it just for this reason right here, to taste it. You know, they did the Jeffersons last week, so I figured it'd be a good time to...
I am super impressed, though, that you were able to hold on to this.
I have 20 other bottles, so it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, but still, though.
Pour it.
I mean, this is a rarity. You're not going to find this on the market, so we're going to taste something that the people, the masses, if you will be like, well, I don't give a shit. We're not going to be able to taste this.
Yeah, fuck 'em, man.
And Manny, I want to know if you're still with me on doing a smaller pour, but tasting
I
those
agree,
two
yes.
again. Yeah.
Give me a little more. I didn't pour myself enough. I want to make sure everybody else had some.
We're doing the
We're at
Ocean's
2?
13.
Good.
hours.
Charlie, yeah, that's good. Charlie would be mad at me if I didn't pour myself enough.
We're right where we need to be.
Yeah, 2
We
hours.
should be able to wrap it up in 2.5.
Yeah, me and him want to try that. So I say we'll start with when we do the rankings. When we start with the rankings, we'll start with my brother here, and then go around because me and you want to kind of retry these.
All right. Wait, what are you retrying?
The Bottled and Bond and the 1870.
All right. So now you're just
I'm
split-
sure you're going to try them too. So
Probably.
I'm gonna do it fairly quickly when I do taste those two. I just want to knock
They
it
were
out.
close.
They were close for me, and I really want to
Yeah.
drink more.
So are we adding this to the list or not?
Well,
Here's what we'll do.
All right.
I heard you say that. I say we rank
don't-
them, and then after that, we'll add in where we think this would go.
okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I will say I'm excited for this. I haven't drank this for a
Ooh,
while.
it smells good.
I mean, it's Oceans. It's
So, little, I listened to the last podcast when he was talking about they have the backstories for everything. I didn't look into it too deep, but I remember, Steve's putting his glasses on. I remember reading that they almost didn't want to do a 13 because 13's unlucky number. And they were so worried on the trip that they were putting eggs in their hair and not washing their hair. They were very superstitious about everything.
They were putting eggs in their
They
hair?
put eggs in their hair and they washed it after.
Would that have saved me from going bald?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Potentially.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But they were so worried that it was going to be a disaster, and it turned out to be a good voyage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
It's crazy that they would. I don't even understand that superstition. Is that a superstition, putting eggs in your hair?
Sailors, they're
Apparently.
a different breed. I don't know.
I don't know. Fucking pirates.
How the fuck would you know anyway?
This is good. This is light.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I like.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, what is that noise?
I feel like this song has to play when you're drinking Ocean.
You didn't do it last time.
I know.
I half expected it to be the Titanic song.
I'd rather be the Titanic song.
Near, far.
So I didn't think about it until after the last podcast. I was like, man, we should have that song playing in the background.
Yeah.
So the song's called Ocean Eyes.
But you know what could happen if you play too much of that? Is we could get pulled from YouTube.
Actually, right, shut it off.
You're allowed. I think you're allowed to play certain clips. It's not actually pulled from YouTube, but if we ever get monetized on YouTube, that would get us demonetized if you
Copyrighted
play
stuff.
too much. Yeah. How crazy is that? That's why I'm excited for Spotify, because I feel like Spotify, when they do their video format, is not going to do that.
Yeah.
So
They're going to be like, hey, play all the YouTube videos you want.
I get this. I get a little bit of the Yoshi saltiness out of this.
I do too.
But super smooth.
Very smooth.
Very
Yeah.
smooth. You get a lot of salt in this one, though.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long is it aged at sea?
It doesn't. I don't see on here.
It doesn't say it on that one.
So
But I can say pretty much their go-to. Again, 90 proof.
Yeah.
That's pretty much their go-to.
typically, Pat, it's they only do
year and a half?
18 months to 2 tops because of the agitation of the ocean on the ship. It ages so much faster than what a normal barrel
Absolutely,
would
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
land. So they take Jefferson's Reserve, normal, what would be their normal aging, which is basically 4 years, and then they put it on.
I'm surprised it's not darker.
I
With
know.
all the agitation.
It's
you would
very
think.
light.
And that's
Very
where
light bourbon.
right.
very
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
It
I
actually
agree.
is weird.
Tasty.
Who's this?
It is good. It is good. I would still definitely take the 21 over it. I would still definitely take the Groth and the whatchamacallit over it. The 19.
No. Oh, that's the 90. Yeah, that's the 1870 I didn't drink.
Just leaving good bourbon up here.
Just have a random Glencairn just show up on the table.
Jeff, did you not like the 1870?
No, it was good. It was okay.
Yeah, they don't hear that. Don't worry about it. That's weird, though, right?
Oh, by the way, Jacob has one.
There. What's that?
We got he went.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
Jacob's
so
got
it's
one
one.
on the Abacus. Yeah, he pissed.
First time ever.
That was the first time ever.
Ever?
That's the first. Jacob's usually
Manny's going now too.
Jacob usually sits here for 3 to 5 hours and never pisses.
Oh, number 3, Manny. Number
Time ever.
3.
So Jeff, I did want to add the 1870. Not a fan.
No, I liked it.
Just not as much as everything else you had sitting in front of you.
7 and a 10 and a 20 better.
Yeah.
Listen, just by his response, how he said that, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
No, I liked it. I was like,
The way he said it was like middle of the road.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very clear.
I like the Ocean's better than the 70 by far.
That's questionable for me, but I can understand that for sure. All right, so we're getting our rankings together.
Yeah, I want to hear the rankings.
I'm
eyes. Doobie doobie doo.
gonna put it off to the side here. I feel like we should actually have some like background music for
Yeah.
when we're doing this part.
Doobie doobie doo.
And actually, I need to finish this Oceans quickly because I need to taste these other two.
My mother.
Manny
and your
picked this up for me
mother.
today. This Russell's, only sold in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm unaware of the whole story, so he can tell you when he gets back. But he bought a bottle and I bought a bottle, so inevitably we will probably
I think we should
break into this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I mean,
I'm gonna. Yeah, I definitely want to taste it. I
Yeah,
want to get
break
through
it
these
open
for
now.
the tasting real
Yeah.
quick.
did you try this last night?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Now my question is, I saw that one said non-chilled filtered on it. Are the other Russells non-chill filtered? Anybody?
I don't know that for sure. I do know that New Riff is
Is
not.
non. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's what makes it so much different to me.
I feel it's like a new thing where a lot of the distilleries are starting to catch on. Like, let's just non-chill it.
Yeah, well, I feel like they got to keep trying new things. There's kosher Buffalo Trace now.
No,
It's a shame.
the fuck.
I
What
don't-
the fuck is that?
There's 3 different versions of it. I don't know. I don't know. So
I mean,
I think
what-
all that means is a rabbi had to bless it. So I'm all for a rabbi blessing
Listen,
bourbon.
that's
I'm all
fine.
for that.
Jewish brothers and sisters like to enjoy bourbon.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe if they can't drink bourbon without it being kosher, then I'm definitely all for it because you should be able to drink bourbon.
Right.
What's the definition of kosher? It has to deal with food
Jacob
and
will find
being
that
of
for
certain
us.
purity.
Kosher.
Yeah.
Ask Pat.
I feel.
I'm
he started.
asking Jacob on this one.
What is kosher?
I once
They
dated a girl,
conform
and she
to the
said,
Jewish dietary regulations of kashrut, primarily derived from Leviticus and Deuteronomy.
What does that mean?
Well,
I don't know. I know I once dated a girl, and she said, "Are you kosher?" I said,
yes,
"Baby, I'm pure."
I'm the purest, most pure.
And that.
It means genuine and legitimate, Steve. You're genuine.
Genuine and legitimate.
Listen, all bourbon is genuine and extremely legitimate.
Right. So therefore, I'm going to say all bourbon is kosher.
should be.
I'm pouring this.
I
with-
hope so. If it's not legitimate,
Yeah. If it's not legitimate, then we're back to right
we're
after.
back in the old days.
It's medicinal.
We're right.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be legitimate if it's medicinal.
Right.
It's- all right. So this
agree.
1870. Let me get a little swig
Steve,
here.
are we trying 2 other ones since they are? Or
I don't.
How,
I mean,
how does
we-
this roll?
I don't. I don't.
I want to
know.
retest.
I'm just
You know,
getting
I,
enough.
I wasn't really sure on that 1910. Should we?
I agree.
should we try that just again? To
Yeah, I
get-
think we should. Let's pull that out.
Just to.
Oh, here it is,
There
Pat.
we go. I mean,
I got the 19.
my
I'll tell
memory,
you what,
my
this
memory
is-
isn't the greatest, but I just want to make
This
sure.
is the epitome
you
of
gotta
that
make sure.
the Neat documentary. When what's his name? Johnson? Eddie Johnson?
Is that the black guy from
Yes.
Buffalo Trace? I
when
love that
he
guy.
says about, drink bourbon with friends and family when you have nowhere to go. This is the
Yeah.
epitome of it.
Yeah,
You guys nail it on the head.
Here. I love everything about that. Just throw the bottle up here since you don't have it poured yet.
Just drink.
Can I drink the bottle?
Drink right out.
I can't say I haven't done it.
Freddie Johnson. That's his name. Freddie.
I got to stop admitting these things on air. They're going to fucking commit me. So, man, this 1870 is good.
That's exactly what he told me too. Turn.
Steve loves the peanut gallery. He can't get enough of it. We might have to change Steve's seating.
Or add a microphone to the peanut gallery.
Yeah,
That would be
more
interesting.
microphone. Well, we need
Jeff says no.
and me and Jacob will look into those things, but we're gonna need more equipment for that because we only have the capability right now for mics.
I'll tell you what. This is impressive right now.
I appreciate
It's a
that.
hell of a
Thank you.
setup.
Extremely impressive. I was pleasantly surprised when I showed up.
You thought we were gonna? Actually, I almost put this in the garage initially. That separate garage over there. If I could have got it all cleaned out, that would have just been the studio. But there's so much shit in there, man.
The first time we met at not Wine and Spirits, Valley Wine Center, you had told me you were starting Gathering of Fools.
Yeah.
And you said you had sort of like a designated area. So I was impressed already because, you were committed to it. So
Well, that's when it was in the bedroom. Well, the spare bedroom.
this was
we
probably
moved out
4 or
here.
5 months ago. 6?
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
But this is good.
I appreciate
Very
that. Thank
good.
you. I take it's honestly, it's not a pride thing. It's a joy thing. Like I thoroughly enjoy it. I turned my main living area into the studio. There's no more.
It's
there's
so
no more-
worth it. It's so
No,
worth it.
listen, we are living the most right now.
So,
we can't live any more than right now.
This
Right,
is what a
right.
living room was made for.
so
full,
we started.
full living.
We started the initial bourbon podcast, and before it became Bastards of Bourbon, in that room, and now it seems so small, right?
It seems so small.
Right. But it was fine the way it was. And then Dave, one day, he was so excited. He was like, you know what? I'm just moving everything into my fucking living room.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I mean, do you really want to do that?
Yes, he does.
I even the fridge. If you open that fridge, it is even more for the podcast than it is for my food consumption. It is just full of alcohol and soda and water, and there's some food in the door and then the drawers underneath, and then the rest
Some
is in
snacks, some pretzels.
Yeah, I got like spinach.
Popeye.
But I'll tell you, I think for the purpose of what you're doing here, especially with having 4.
It's 1870.
Oh, it's 1897.
Yeah, 1897.
Oh, in that case.
So, genius decision. I mean, with the video and everything, it's great. It really is.
I'm glad we got the video. That was really key for me. We do it actually on the iPhone Pro Max. Shout out to iPhone Pro Max because it's amazing. I think the video quality we get from a phone. But my options were to spend that much money on a phone, which was also going to help me with my social media because of the great camera on there, or to buy an $800 video camera.
No brainer.
To me, that was a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Because
It's an all-in-one type deal.
well, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you buy a $200-300 video camera, no matter what size memory card you put in it, it'll shut off at a half hour to 45 minutes.
Well, that's worthless.
Not good for these podcasts.
Not
No.
good for these
Worthless.
at all.
Yeah.
Although some people would say that this isn't good for the podcast for us to go this long, but we are the bastards.
Right. We're going to do our own thing, and damn
we
it,
do not conform.
that's right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Listen, we love this, so either you're going to love it as well, or you can watch another podcast.
I agree with you. I want to get to the ratings, though.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So, Dave, it's your choice. You pick the lineup.
We're going to go with Spiess, Manfresca, and
Yeah.
then me, and then you.
Are you sure? Because I went last time. You should go last.
I think you
this
should
time.
flip it. You go last this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to give you... Okay. All right. Let's do it. It actually works out well because I'm not done.
You want to start now?
Scramble.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
going from last to first to last?
We go first.
Yeah, number
First
one.
to third, correct?
First to third.
Is that what we're doing?
First
Or
to
we're
last.
doing all of them?
We're doing all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
1 through 8.
Are you
1 through
prepared?
8.
No, I'm not. I thought they were doing one.
Okay. Well, Manny, are you ready?
I can go.
All right.
Okay.
Manny's gonna go.
So
then Pat.
I think mine are going to be different from everybody else's here.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they are.
So I'm going to start with 1897 is my favorite.
Oh.
I like that one, and
I can't disagree. I mean, I
Well,
disagree,
I mean,
but I can't.
Well, and that's crazy because you were going back and forth between the 1897 and the 1870.
it's correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, so 1897. Now, why the 1897?
It was. I like some spiciness, but I can do the big boy bourbons,
Yeah.
but I don't like too much. of
Okay.
it. I like it still smooth.
Yeah.
I'm still building that character to where I can drink. You know, no one likes you, Steve. Come on now. Come on.
I didn't even see what you did.
What? I mean, I was just doing my own thing over here with the camera.
Steve loves the camera. Peanut gallery, the camera. All right, so 1897.
I tried it on the golf. So this isn't just this time too. I tried it on the golf course, and I tried it the 1920 at the same time, and I just like it better. I don't.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I-
You don't
they're
have to
very
defend it.
close.
You do not have to defend it. It's an excellent bourbon.
They're very close, and that's why I said I think I'm gonna have different from you guys.
The 1870, is that what you said?
1897.
1897.
Okay.
Following, I like the 1870.
Yeah.
So 1870, number 2. Okay, big
Told
stuff.
you I'm gonna be different from all you guys.
No, you're fine.
I will say,
They were so close, and I like those two flavor profiles the best.
one, I will say we did end up on different levels of where those are at, but we did end up with the same one leading. So I'm glad we retasted and we ended up at the same spot. Anyway, go ahead.
Following 1920, I mean, I would still buy it anytime I can. It's spicy, but it's smooth, and it's a touch too spicy for me.
I'm sorry, which one did you say? I'm sorry.
1920.
1920?
That's his number 3.
That's number 3.
That's my number 3.
If you're going to go those two first, I'm glad that was your next one.
All right, so what's your number 4?
Number 4 is the 100 proof.
Okay.
I
like it.
I thought
it.
that was.
I like it.
I mean, after we get through the whiskey row, I feel like it's just all kind of a.
Well, you're leaving out 1910. Where's that? Come on.
Well, we know where that's going to be for him, I think.
Last.
keep
Dead
going.
last.
What's number 5?
I like the 86. I said when I went down there, that was the first. That's the bottle I bought, and
That's your number 5?
yeah,
No.
I told
Okay.
you I'm going to be different from you guys.
All right,
I
yeah.
just
We are going to be more similar. I mean, we're going to have some differences for sure, me and you, but we're going to be more similar.
I
than
know
you
we're
think.
gonna have.
All right. Now, if you say
Me and
your
you are
number
gonna be more
6 is
similar.
Statesman, I'm gonna kick you
all
right
right,
off
you
your
know what? You're
fucking
not going to
chair.
like where Statesman is on my list.
I'm gonna kick you right off your chair.
I like the next one is the rye. It was
Hey,
smooth.
I love the rye.
It
So
wasn't
the
a bad.
rye
It
is
was
your
a
sixth?
good,
Yeah.
decent bottle.
Yeah, it's again those price points for the 100, the rye, and
It's great.
The 86 is incredible.
I mean, at that point, they're all so good.
Yeah, for that price point, that's
They're all
I mean,
so
it's-
good. You
yeah.
can't go wrong with any of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this is where I might get kicked out.
Oh, here we go.
Statesman.
Actually, I'm gonna need you to cut his mic off.
Statesman.
No, get him out
Just
now.
take the gain and just.
Statesman.
You really are going Statesman over
I
1910.
hate the
It's
1910.
okay. We'll put him in the basement.
I can't stand the 1910.
We'll
Just
put
so
him.
I had a hard time finishing it. I know
This-
it's crazy, but I mean that's
It's okay.
how it is
I mean,
for me.
You're gonna be.
No,
you're
that-
gonna be in the basement in the gimp.
Yeah, no,
trunk.
that's fine. You're just not gonna come back for another episode. I'm just
Fair
kidding.
enough.
I'm
I
just kidding.
I did not like the 1910. I know you guys all like. There was. I don't know if there was some sort of flavor in there that just didn't sit well with
Hey,
me. I
we
just
found
did not
somebody
like it.
that can take the bottle of Statesman with them.
No. Listen, that
Yeah.
was second to last. I don't.
no, it's yours. You got it. That's for you.
No. Well, there's not much left. I mean,
Love it.
Listen,
love it.
Happy Hanukkah. I
I'll put
hear
some
it's
Coke
kosher.
with it. I mean, it'll be good, right?
Yes.
Put something with
Perfect.
it because, man, it's not good by itself.
You know how many people would hate me? I think I did say it on air, but how many? It was for the PJ podcast though, because Pam said, "Is there a bourbon here I can drink with Coke?" And I gave her the Weller Green. It's like, here you go. People are gonna hate me for that.
All right, listen, Manny. Nobody is making fun of your order. It's your order.
I
That's
just don't-
what. That's
I
the
don't
purpose
like
of it.
it.
I like it.
No.
I like that your order is different than mine.
Not only do I like that it's different, I like that. To me, it speaks just something to your flavor profile because I think you have an honestly good bourbon palate, but for some reason the 1910 just doesn't suit you.
I don't know if there's one flavor in there or if there's something that just doesn't sit well. I just don't like it.
Yeah. Steve loves the fucking camera. It's like you were born for it. You should have been a model.
No, I'm curious to see what yours is like compared to mine.
Ours-
Which I know it's going to be different because obviously
But ours is ours is fairly similar. I was surprised by how similar it was outside of the top
yeah,
two.
obviously it's going to
I s-
change a lot because of that. But
Yeah, I'd say our top two and my top two and 3 and 4, whatever that
But after
area
that,
is. It's pretty lined on. All right, you got it.
I'm ready.
All right.
All right, so number 1, the 1910. The notes I have for it are complex, candy sweet, and banana.
I love this fucking guy.
Yeah, I love the banana, Pat.
I'm just going to go home.
Completely
I'm
agree.
leaving.
Jeff,
I'm out.
Love
Jeff
it.
and I agree on that. It tastes
I do.
like banana.
You said the
not
19
like an artificial banana, but like an organic banana.
You said the 1910.
Yes.
Yeah. That's your number 1.
It-
Which I do agree with the banana.
It's hard to beat.
I do.
It's very good. The number 2 is the 1870.
Oh,
And
Jeff,
the notes.
you were right. You should have been on all of them.
Oh, shit.
I was just fucking around.
And the notes I have on that are sweet, smooth, soft, caramel, and vanilla.
Intellectual, writing notes too.
Yeah, no, actually, I really like that you go that
Yeah.
that in depth with notes.
That's
I really
what I
enjoy
have.
that.
This was incredible. This could almost be number 1 for me. And I
Was the 86 one you said?
Are you
You're
pointing
talking
to the
about
right one?
1810?
No, that was
1810
the
was number
86 you were pointing to, right?
Which one?
Or, yeah,
That's the 86.
the
That's
So
not
your
the
number
right
1
yeah.
was 1910.
What's the 1970? Is there an 1870?
1870, yeah.
Yes.
1870 was 2.
1870 was 2, right? Yeah. Where's the 1870?
I don't know where you were pointing at the wrong one, Pat.
No, this was the first one we tried. It's the
Yes.
first on my list.
So is that your second favorite?
That's my second favorite. Absolutely.
Well, that's actually funny because, like
Wait.
I said, when I went to the Bourbon Trail, that's the one I bought.
That is, I really, really enjoyed
First
that.
one we tried. It's not
you
the
said the wrong
1870.
name. Yeah.
This is the 1870.
I mislabeled.
You got some things
He's
mixed up, sir.
mislabeling.
I have them all in order.
Right, so this is your number 2.
Okay, so the 86, yes, my number 2.
The 80s,
absolutely.
Holy shit!
The first one
Absolutely.
we started with.
Yes, I love
You know,
it.
I don't know.
Thought
I
it
feel
was
like
great.
he's going for a shocker.
I thought I was gonna have it. Higher than was expected. He had it decently high. You have it really high
You have it really high. I think you have it too high.
at $18.99. I mean, it's his flavor profile,
Right.
But
So, okay, you got. All right, so
Sweet,
just so I'm right,
smooth,
number 2 is
soft,
86.
caramel, vanilla.
number 2.
Number 2 is 86.
So we went
Pat.
1910, then we went 86.
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
Number
I'm just
3,
trying to
Holy
keep-
shit!
1920.
Okay, beautiful.
Complex, smooth, caramel, strong, and salty. I got a little bit of saltiness out of it. Not salted, not like a big pretzel salty.
not like
salted
Voyage
caramel?
17.
Just a hint of salt.
I don't really get the salt, but I love it. My mind is blown right now.
Okay, number 4.
And it's in a
That's
great
what you
way.
get from
I love
the young
it. I
guys.
love it. I love
the
it. I love it.
1897 medium balance. That's all I can say. And really,
So that's your 4.
yeah.
Okay.
But I really did like that one. That
Yeah.
could also be number 1
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Yeah, it's
that
good.
that was really, really good.
Very good.
Number 5 is the rye, and I have spicy and chestnut down. I think I just like the overall flavor. I don't think it was too complex. I couldn't get a whole lot of flavor out of it, but I think it was very good.
Yeah.
Number 6, the original batch. I have smooth and refined.
That's the 100?
1870. That's the 1870.
That's the
1870.
1870.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what I did there,
So the 86 was the 2. The 1870
was the 6.
Was the 6.
Yeah. Numbers. Oh, that can't be right.
Struggling.
Well, I have number 7 as the Statesman, but we tried 8, and there's no way because the statement.
You're missing the 100 proof.
That would be number 7.
So you like the
So the 100 proof would be your
Yeah.
7, and then the Statesman would be 8.
Number 8, just because this Statesman was all alcohol, no flavor, no depth, no character. It was just not good, especially at the price point.
Especially at the price.
price
Really,
point's
it's ju-
outrageous.
just not a good
The price
bourbon.
point
It's a novelty
overall.
Yeah, it is. That's
It's
for
a
sure.
novelty item.
They
It's
made
a-
a novelty bourbon. They're like, hey, let's make this off this
It's a
movie.
true novelty if you like
I
to
mean,
spend
and
a
here's
lot
the problem:
on-
is I'm a sucker
low
for it, and I would
quality.
do it. I would still buy it just because
Yeah.
it's.
Jeff, what did you grab? The rye?
Yeah.
I wish you would have grabbed this so you could taste the 86 to see what he's talking about.
That's actually no. That speaks
Like
kind of
I
volumes
said-
because we're both 23 and 24, and like I said, when I went to the Bourbon Trail and tried them all,
I really,
that's the one I
Yeah.
bought.
really, really enjoyed that.
Out of all the ones I tried, that's the one I brought
Which
home.
one?
The Old
reg-
Forester 86, just the
86.
regular.
Yeah, it made it higher on my list than I expected it to. But that number 2, that to me, that's a surprising one. I'm glad I'm glad that's where
really,
it was.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking take a sip.
Try it again, see if it,
I think
it
we
changes
should.
a little bit. But
I am about to taste
it is
again.
funny though.
I
It
think
just-
I liked the simplicity of it and that
It's
it was,
easy to
it was
drink.
smooth and
I'll tell you what, you guys, I
Smooth and sweet.
100% guarantee. He already knows, but I 100% guarantee after hearing your flavor profiles, you are going to be shocked by that $10 bottle down there. You're going to be shocked.
I'm looking forward to
Would
trying it.
Would you agree with that? That benchmark? He's going to be shocked by that
yes, he will be.
because it's $10. So you think like I don't even want that in my mouth.
Well, that's the problem. Is
Yeah.
I hung out with all these guys all the time, and being at the country club, it's going to
And-
sound bad, but I never,
Yeah,
Well,
I
and,
never
and
had to.
it is good. That
from,
86 is
but
good.
from what we learned from this, price does not.
It's all taste.
Does not dictate.
No,
It doesn't-
price does
yeah.
not dictate quality.
Yeah.
It does not.
Does not.
Statesman shit, and it's $60. And my number 2 was 20. So fuck Statesman. That's all I can say.
The guy that came in here like the scientist just Yellowstoned the fuck out of Statesman.
I have nothing good to say for Statesman.
Yeah, Statesman's bad.
No,
it
I
was
wanna-
like they put it together and they just said, you know what? Let's just throw a bunch of fucking urine in a bottle and see if it sells.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bullshit.
But you know what the
I'm-
problem
I'm
is?
mad about it.
Listen, it's $60, so people think it's probably a halfway decent
If-
bourbon.
if
and
you
they'll
were-
buy it.
yes.
Yeah,
and they'll buy it.
if you
and
didn't
it's
know
fucked
anything.
up because
and it's from the movie.
Price
Right,
does not
that's the thing.
dictate
And they make
quality.
it so good in the movie.
they made a novelty bourbon.
They
and
made
it's-
it in the movie The Statesman. It was these British guys are drinking scotch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little meaty.
It's
What do you-
not good.
What do you think, Dave?
It's British shit.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what.
Also, easy to drink.
The 86. No, it really is. Actually,
Easy
the
to
second
drink.
tasting, I'm gonna say where I have it on my list. I'm gonna say it's a coin flip between that and the one above it because it really is. It's easy going.
Will you
It's
comment
easy
on
to
where
drink.
you don't like it, or you want to wait for your rating?
He's doing the rating now.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Or is
Steve's
Steve
next.
going
enough,
first?
Fair enough.
Steve?
I am. Okay. It's not going to be any surprise to you, Jeff. My number 1 is 1920.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm a big boy bourbon guy. It's
I
all big. It's a big bastard. He's a big bastard.
I don't know if it's that we've battered our taste buds or what it is, but
Yeah.
I think the alcohol carries the
I
flavor.
don't listen. It's a good bourbon.
Yeah.
It's a good
just-
bourbon.
Well,
can't-
neither of you had it low. What'd you have it at 3?
We had it, I think
1920.
at both 3 or 2.
3.
3, and you had it.
I thought I had it at 3.
Yeah.
Only because I like the 1910 first because it
Yeah.
was sweet.
Yeah.
I like sweet, I guess, in bourbon. So
Nothing
So
wrong with
I
that.
mean, my big thing on that is
Thanks.
just the flavor from it. It's full of flavor.
Full of flavor.
I get salty. I get. You know what I love about it more than anything.
you got
is-
salty too.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I get the.
Not the
I
only
get.
one.
I get a nice wood, like oaky. straight from the barrel flavor out of that. And you would think you wouldn't get it out of something that's 115 proof, but I get it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's it.
Yeah, I think we've distinguished that most of the time the alcohol will carry a lot of the flavor, and there are certain bourbons or certain ones that do good at a lower alcohol content. But
Yep.
to me, it
does
is.
one of the better jobs.
Yeah.
Of the higher proof, it carries.
The alcohol doesn't hide the flavor,
No.
which is good. It doesn't cover it up.
Right. And it's shocking on something that higher proof.
It
but
is.
You get it. Number 2 for me is 1897.
Oh, number 2 is 1897.
1897, man, I really, really love that bourbon.
Yeah.
And it's so drastically different than the 1920. But what I get out of that is, again, caramel, toasted, just love the flavors that come out of that. And
Medium
I-
balanced.
Medium balanced, yes, for sure. So that's my number 2. My number 3 is the 1870
oh, wow.
original
Wow.
batch.
There
I
you
know.
go.
Wow.
There you go.
I did not expect this.
I know. I know. I'm dissing the 1910, but
We are all
I'm
over
all
the
here
map.
for
We
it.
really are.
We are all over the map.
here's what I love about the 1870 is the vanilla. There's a vanilla
That's what
in
I have
that.
down.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
God,
the vanilla's good.
it's good. And we have to remember when we tasted Jefferson's, everything we tasted out of Jefferson's was born from the reserve, right? Mm-hmm. Everything we're tasting out of Whiskey Row is born.
Out of the 1870.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving it props. I really like it. So therefore, number 4 is my 1910.
Yeah.
And that might be slightly low, but that's my ranking. 1910 is an interesting whiskey, a bourbon, from anything we tasted out of everything else.
Completely
and I
different.
think it's because of the double barreling.
Hand me that 100 real quick.
I wonder if that's.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. With the barreling.
Yeah,
It's different.
I think that's why it's so much different, because it's getting different flavors from 2 different barrels.
Yeah.
And that's my
Completely
story
agree.
on that.
Completely agree.
Number 5, Statesman. Just kidding. Number 5.
I would have said, Jeff, you're the new big bastard.
I'm going number 5 with the 86. I mean, I really like it. I mean,
That's hilarious. No, I mean in a great way. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I love the 86.
I'm with you.
number 6, and I mean, I had a hard time. I could interchange both of these. The 100 proof rye. I mean, I like the rye. I think it's going to make a phenomenal fashion. Slightly spicy. I just like my rye spicier. That's why it's number 6, or it would have been higher. Number 7, and I feel bad because I put it this far down.
After everything you said about it.
I know, it's the 100.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in it.
I get it.
I mean, I was all in on, like, listen, this is the birthday bourbon offshoot. Anything that doesn't make the birthday bourbon.
Right. You were excited to
You
try it.
sold it very well.
I did. I felt like I did. So
I feel like it should have been better than what it was.
I agree.
But I think maybe I was going to add it at the end of mine, but I think what we should add in there is that for most of us, everything but the Statesman, I think, is worth the purchase. Well, actually,
No
I think
doubt.
for all of us, Statesman.
100%.
Even I think somebody had it at 7. Yeah, you had it at 7.
I had 1910 lower.
Yeah. So, but you would still say, you would say all those younger all the lower
100%. I would
MSRP
buy
bourbon.
every single one of them.
Yeah, you would buy every one of them.
Every
Yeah.
one of them.
No
without
doubt.
a doubt.
We
I would too.
yeah.
So of course my number 8 is Statesman, which I would. I don't know. I mean, my opinion is I would call it as the devil's semen.
So is this worse than Yellowstone?
To me, yes.
Yes.
Is this Yellowstone? Worse than
me-
Yellowstone.
to me, it's-
So
it's
now
worse.
we have a new term.
Well, though I
Is
still
it a
think
Statesman?
just because Jeff was the first one, I think that was truly ballsy enough to go all in on hating a bourbon. It's always going to be Yellowstone.
Uh-oh. Pat's up. Pat's up.
Oh, first piss.
No, number two. That's number two.
Oh, is that
Steve,
two for him?
you're leading.
I'm in here. Right here. Big 0.
You got the pens on. It doesn't count.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm mad you weren't sharing.
Just to be honest, I have a catheter in.
He's had enough surgeries. That's just a comfortable thing for him.
Feels good. Just feels good.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but Jeff is a masochist. Oh, we have problems.
We always have problems. I feel like we end every podcast in, we have problems.
And I'm happy for every one of those
Yeah.
problems.
If the shoe fits.
I'm putting that bitch on. All right. I kind of
All right,
want to wait for.
we're-
I want to wait for him to get back till
All right.
I
Yeah,
go through
you
mine.
should. We're at, what are we at? About 2.5 hours?
Yep, exactly.
Motherfucker. I thought for sure we could keep it under 2.
There's no.
Do the ratings and wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let me get that knob over there.
I'll tell you what, the knob is good, huh?
No,
Did you try that?
we probably.
I don't
will
think
wrap
any of us have tried it yet.
it. No, I have. The knob is good. My first impression of the knob was not that impressed, and then as it sat on my palate, I was like, okay, this is excellent. All right, so my
Okay.
ratings.
Let's get it.
It shouldn't be any surprise to anybody because I said at the beginning that 1920 was in my top 5. 1920 is definitely what I lead with. Honestly, what's weird is my distinguishing note from it that I like is the maple, which I don't necessarily like sweet things, but I feel like it's the perfect amount of maple complemented with everything else. But the maple comes in strong for me.
Hold on. Let's take a time out.
The maple's
Steve.
good. It's
Steve's
savory.
getting up. First one of the night.
Steve is gonna piss.
Number 1.
First one.
I'm pretty sure I'm pissing out straight bourbon.
So I'm gonna extend 1920 talk, but the maple for me is the distinguishing thing, especially on the nose. What I love about it, again, one of the things I love about it is when I introduce somebody else to the world of tasting bourbon and adding water to it, is you smell a little hint of maple in the 1920 before the water, and then I feel like when you add just a little drop or two of water, then you get a lot of the maple on the nose, and I think it's something that really shows that clarification of adding the water, and it's probably the first big boy bourbon that I truly enjoyed. It's probably what turned me on to the big boy bourbons.
So you like that better than E.H. Taylor?
Well, even though I almost consider E.H. Taylor a borderline big boy bourbon because it comes in at 100 on the dot. But no, I don't like it more than the E.H. Taylor.
I was just curious.
I do like the E.H. Taylor.
E.H. Taylor
more.
was my first. Well, maybe not my big boy bourbon. Then.
Well, it's still a big boy bourbon. It is. It's 100 proof or more. I guess I say that just because it was the first bourbon I had that was over 100.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I know
that
what
I
you're saying. I
thoroughly
was-
enjoyed. Yeah. But yeah, no, I do prefer the E.H. Taylor small batch over the 1920. I gotta say, I might, after trying the E.H. Taylor single barrel, I might actually prefer the E.H. Taylor small batch over the single barrel. I was very surprised by that revelation.
Still have a single barrel over
Uh,
there? Don't announce it on the podcast.
Well, hopefully it's still over there. I don't know because I haven't been there for a couple days. My full intent was to drink half of that bottle before I left work, but nobody else is there, so we were closing. I was like, so can I stay here or no? And they said, no, you have to leave. So 1920, my number 1. My number 2 is going to be the 1910. For me, the 1910, I do get the banana as well. I really do.
And it was a good year for you, was it not?
1910 was an excellent
1910?
year for me. That was when my previous body discovered bourbon. And I just realized that in a dream that I had 2 nights ago.
Dream or like a vision almost.
It would
I
be,
feel like it
you've
was
heard,
more.
Have you heard of wet dreams?
All right, I'm out.
A bourbon wet dream is probably not bad.
Yeah, it's to me it was almost better than a sex wet dream.
Again, I'm out.
I agree. I'm out.
Let's move on. Move on.
But so the 1910, I think one of the reasons, again, I have weird judging criteria. Like on the Jefferson podcast, I like the innovation. I think that's why I put some of them ahead of the Cask 21. Now for banana, I've never gotten to me a taste of banana in a bourbon, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that's why 1910 is coming in as the clear-cut number 2 for me.
Exceptional.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
It's really good.
hard to beat.
So then I was going back and forth on the 1897 and the 1870, and I landed on the 1897 as well. We both tried it again. We landed with it 1897 ahead of the 1870. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you literally proud up like you were like you proud up like the Mufasa holding Simba over. Who's gonna hold Monsignor over here? Yeah. I thought for sure you were about to say something. We just insulted everybody.
Pretty much.
But so the 1897 did end up in the lead. I want to say I really enjoyed the 1870. I think
Love the 1897. I love
think,
it.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
think with the 1897, it like we said, it all started with the 1870, and then that's what they did the rest of Whiskey Row with. I think that the 1897 carried a little bit more of the flavor with the alcohol over for me, and that's why the 1897 came ahead of the 1870.
So what number is that for you? I'm sorry.
That's 3.
Yeah.
So number 4 for me is obviously then the 1870.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I first tried some of these Whiskey Rows, I wasn't as impressed with them as I was tonight, and maybe that's because of the order we went in. Sometimes order means everything, as we discovered in the
Right.
with the Widow Jane podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
All credit to Manny.
Yeah, the Widow Jane. All
Makes
credit
me
to Manny.
excited. Yes.
All credit to Manny.
I want to hear
So
this.
so the story is, and I'll tell it again. I
Yeah.
feel like I've told it.
You already told. You won't have to.
Yeah.
tell me.
No. I think we should tell.
I
it.
don't remember. I don't
Tell it
remember
again.
this.
Tell it again.
Did we say this on the podcast
You
already?
did it on the,
You did,
the
yes.
Widow Jane one.
Oh, say it
And
again.
you guys tried it first. I
So
remember being
so
so tickled
so
that
we're
you
out
guys-
golfing, and I wasn't
The member guest.
Yeah, member guest. So Manny's playing with your
I wasn't
dad.
playing. I was working in D.C. at the time,
That's
and I went to a local bar, and it was a whiskey bar, and I was drinking whiskey, and she said, "Have you ever tried this?" And I said, "No." She said, "Wow, it's out in New York. It's blah blah blah." And I tried it, and I was like, "This is
It's
really
phenomenal.
good." And this was like right when I started drinking whiskey,
Really?
like right when I started getting into it. And so I went to the store and I found it, and I swear to you, when I bought it, it was $80 a bottle.
It's pretty close
Still
to that
is.
now.
Is it still
Yes.
Close.
I thought it was
79
lower.
something.
And
I thought
I
bought
thought it was around.
between 65 and 75.
Yeah, I bought it.
I
for
thought it for 65.
I just
I thought I got it
I
at.
think
What
I
did
just
I buy
paid
it for us, Steve?
78.
Yeah.
I thought it was cheaper when I bought it for us.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was.
Yeah, I think I just
But
paid
I remember
78.
trying it, and I brought it to the country club.
Yeah. Well, and man, you did great.
And that being said, I don't think I had another drink of it after I brought it to the country club.
Do you still have it? Or did they finish it that night?
They finished it, and I actually, honest to God, I haven't drank it for a while. And
Yeah.
then
So-
I listened to the last podcast with Jeff, and he was saying how good it was.
It's so good.
And it made me buy another bottle, and I
It to me it was the most surprising bourbon we've had on
It
the
just-
podcast so far.
you
for
wouldn't
my
expect
tasting.
it out of there.
No, we've had it in a tasting with Henry McKenna, and before we started I said, well, I know what my number one is. My number one is Henry McKenna, and I had to go like 1A 1B, as I think most of us did,
Yeah.
because it's that good. And again, I don't think it hits 100 proof.
Indigestion.
Yeah, heartburn. Too many
So-
bourbon for too many days.
So it was a
I like
podcast prior to that. So prior to the last bourbon podcast, it was just me, you, and Jeff.
Yeah.
And we did that one.
Yeah.
And we told the story of Manny.
Somehow I don't remember that, but I do so many fucking stupid podcasts.
Here's the great part about
I mean,
that
they're
story.
stupid. I love them all, but Jesus Christ, my mind's getting flooded.
Well, it has.
Oh, we're going to this story. I know where this is going.
So he brings Widow Jane, and he's puffing his chest like, "Hey,
I didn't even play in the golf tournament. I just brought it up to show.
Yeah,
this bottle
he's
of
like,
whiskey,
"Hey, I was in
basically.
New York. I got this bottle of
I came to show
Widow
off.
Jane." Right.
Yeah.
So, you had a job there, whatever. I don't know where you found it. It doesn't matter. We're going to stick with my story. So he brings it in, and right away he's talking about how he has this bourbon. And I said in the earlier bourbon podcast that it was like Jeff and I on the golf course were like meerkats. We just popped up. We were like, bourbon, bourbon,
Bourbon?
bourbon,
Bourbon.
bourbon, bourbon.
Hence why I didn't drink anymore.
and immediately fell in love with this bourbon. It was like, oh my God, this is really fucking good. This is great.
It's excellent.
And so no one, he is the reason
That we
why
know about Widow Jane.
We know about Widow Jane.
Sir,
It's Manny.
Sir, I salute
He
you.
put it,
I
put
feel
it on our
special.
radar.
You should feel
I
special.
feel special. No, if I could bring it on your threes,
Hey.
palate.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a good palate, and if
Man.
I was able to do that, I feel like I've accomplished something in this life.
What
At
I'm
least
leaving,
one thing.
what I'm leaving out about the
At least
story.
one thing.
One thing.
What I'm leaving out about the story is we drank the entire bottle, and there were many a person who left that country club that day hammered. I mean,
Everybody
and by-
had rides.
Leave it
Yeah.
to me. Leave it to me.
There were a lot of Frankenstein steps going out on that.
Well,
that day. It was bad.
I just have to salute you being 24, bringing a bourbon like that. To,
I was.
to us.
I might have been 22.
22.
Yeah, this was
It was
a little while ago.
I got to salute you for that because you
You were younger than that.
I
were-
might have been 21.
you were but you were
Might have been 17.
I graduated college. I was. I mean,
Hey, whoa,
I was
whoa,
at least
whoa,
22.
whoa.
But I really love that you introduced that to the group because
Well, it's-
and a lot of people don't know about it still. And I can't wait to see what they do with their old barrels are
Right.
10 years old.
Right.
I just anytime I'm around these guys, I always, if I can bring something new to the table, I feel so special because I know these guys have been around.
Oh, yeah.
And they have drank basically every bourbon there is.
Scotch.
See, I don't like Scotch.
That's a good
but-
thing. That's a good
I
thing.
fell out of love with Scotch after I found
But
bourbon.
this is
I do
one
have
of
to
those
say,
things.
2 pisses for Jacob. He
Number
broke the
2.
seal on
Number
this
2.
podcast.
I'm only at one. I am the winner so far.
No, but that's
It's these
I
guys
applaud
have
you.
done so much for me, and I've hung out with them so much, and they're some of my good friends. So when I can introduce something new to them and
it's a cool
kinda-
feeling.
be more in the group,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Oh well, hey, brother, you're definitely in the group.
Well, that's
Uh,
what
yeah.
when Jeff told the story when Manny was mentioned on the podcast, I was so excited. I was telling everybody, I was like, "This is
He
awesome."
was pumped.
Maybe at the time I didn't realize who Manny was, is why it didn't click with me and stick to my memory. Maybe he didn't say Manny
Yeah,
Manfresca.
'cause
I
we
don't know,
told-
but
I told
definitely
that
still
story with the meerkats and Manny and. But you're right. Now you get.
I remember the Bearcats.
I remember
Clearly.
Meerkats. I remember that part.
boom, boom, boom.
That was accurate too.
All right, so we do need to get back to my ranking, and so we had 1870 was the last one we said, number 4. First, I do want to applaud you one more time for bringing Widow Jane to us. Thank you for that very much. I really appreciate it because it's incredible. But so 1870 number 4, and then I originally, until you came out with your rankings and I tasted them both again, I originally had the 100 ahead. I actually now have the 86 ahead of the 100. So
glad.
Really?
yeah, so the 86 is going at 5.
You can't beat it for the price.
Especially regardless of the price, I actually think the
It's
flavor
so smooth.
It's so smooth.
It's incredibly smooth for the
Not as
the
much
price,
flavor, but
like
smooth.
it just doesn't compare. Like it's I think it's crazy.
It's definitely not as complex as Whiskey Row.
No, definitely not.
But it's excellent. It's really good. So
Yeah.
their run of the mill basic bourbon is going
like
in
An
right after
extremely
Whiskey
good
Row.
daily drink.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like Pat said earlier, a great everyday bourbon.
Yeah.
That
It
being
really
said,
is.
you can find it anywhere. Wherever you go, it's always available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not
Easy to
there, if
find.
it's not there, you should probably stop going to that liquor store because
Probably
they're not
so.
going to have what you
Go in
want.
the wrong
anyway.
store.
And then after that, I'm going to go the 100. Again, I think the high alcohol carries over some flavor, even though the rye also hits 100. And Jeff, first piss.
Jeff taking a piss tonight. All right. Oh, number 2. He said number 2.
But I'm putting the 100 over the rye. I'm starting to think that there are certain ryes I like a lot, but maybe ryes aren't necessarily me. Like the Pikesville, I love. I
Yeah.
love the Pikesville.
Love the pizza.
I agree
Love
with
it.
you, but the rye's. I mean, you go from Angel's Envy to this, and rye's supposed to be spicy,
Right. The Angel's Envy is
and
not.
it doesn't seem like anything. This wasn't even that spicy.
No. The Angel's Envy, I should say, is spicy on the finish. Like I feel the spiciness in the back of my throat, but it is all sweetness in the mouth.
But it just
This was also not aged in rum casks, so I feel like that has something to do with it.
it
Too.
100% does. But like when you put the rye tag on it,
yeah.
you feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be spicier.
The-
And I
the-
think
the traditional rye definition.
and I think we get to that point where we don't taste the spiciness and we get a little disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna go with obviously the 86, the 100 at my 6, and then the rye is gonna go at my 7, and then the Statesman, it's at my number 8. I probably could have left it off the list altogether.
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone
Now, is
to
this-
hell and back.
Is this the new Yellowstone?
I don't think we can go there because we have to keep that going because Jeff was the first one that truly went hard on a bourbon, which I loved. I loved it so much that he went hard. Because we had a previous podcast where we tasted the Weller Green and the Statesman, and Steve was trying to be nice about it, and he was just like, "They're not very good." And then off air, he said, "Here, you can just take those two bottles."
I remember listening to it.
You can just take those 2 bottles and put them in the trash.
Trash those.
Yeah, but Statesman is the last on there. It's one of my least favorite bourbons.
$60.
Yeah, and it's $60.
That-
I'd say the only one I
that's the
probably
craziest
dislike
part.
more than the Statesman is the regular Larceny. I'm not.
I've never
I'm
done
not
that.
a fan.
I kind of want to try the larceny because you guys have had.
I really want to try the barrel proof. I actually wish Jeff would have brought it today because we forgot to try it the other time. He just keeps flipping me off left and right. I love you too,
Where
Jeff.
are you sitting now? Like that's a weird position. You're
He's in the back of the peanut gallery. Those would be considered the cheap seats.
He's in a slow rocker.
All right, so Jacob, where are we at?
250.
250. All right, so we are gonna let's wrap it up. But I do want to, because we always do a slight amount of entertainment. We're not gonna go crazy. I just want to know one movie or one show from each of you that you would recommend,
One movie
or show.
or show.
Wow, that's tough. Throwing us on the spot.
Oh man. Of any era, any time.
Any era, even something recent, something that's just on the top of your head. Top of your head.
Steve,
Well-
I want to know your top 3 Jake Gyllenhaal movies.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so
Let's go
you know
with
what?
it.
So you know what? He pulled this out. So we're going
Jake
top 3 Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal movies, and
Shit.
and
Oh, God.
I'm not doing it. I barely know who Jake Gyllenhaal is. I know who he is. I just don't
know
like
who he
any of
is.
his movies.
No, I
End of Watch is clear cut number 1.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a good movie either.
And
It's a great
I
movie.
like End
I
of
don't.
Watch.
It's too sad for me.
It's
no,
very
no,
sad.
It's good,
but it's
no,
awesome.
That's a good movie though. If it makes you feel something,
It makes you
it's
feel
sad.
something.
Steve's looking up
Completely
Jake
agree.
Gyllenhaal
Completely agree.
movies. I want that to be known. Looking
Jacob-
it up.
Hold on. Last time Jacob was the one upset about this, and now he just started a fucking train wreck. There's a 4-car pileup on the Bastards of Bourbon Highway.
All right, so End of Watch,
Are
great
we-
movie.
Are we doing Jake Gyllenhaal or something? Or just regular? I need to know.
He's like, I don't want to do Jake.
Well, I gotta look on my phone because I don't know what
I'll
he's
be
in.
honest.
Get your
I'm
phone
not
out.
a big Jake Gyllenhaal.
I only know
fan.
one.
I'm not either.
I only
Me
know
and
this,
Pat
this
got this.
movie
Go ahead. Yeah.
you mentioned, but End of Watch is great. I mean, it's
I got my number 1 at least.
Are we
it-
doing movies or TV series?
Honestly, just
Whatever.
I don't
Honest-
know. What?
I don't. Has Jake Gyllenhaal been on TV?
Oh, we're doing Jake Gyllenhaal then. All right. I gotta reevaluate my choices.
Okay, so my number 1 is Zodiac.
Was he on Zodiac? Oh yeah. No. Yes. That's not what I was thinking of. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Great movie. Also,
Robert Downey. Yes.
Yeah. Also Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Yeah. What's that?
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
What?
Just letting that know.
What's that?
Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Jacob, what was your number one?
My number one,
Yeah.
it was Nightcrawler.
Okay. All right. So he was close. All right.
All right, number 3. Brokeback.
Oh boy.
I'm in trouble. Brokeback Mountain. Because I can't quit you.
I've heard some things about.
I've never
Brokeback
even
Mountain.
That'd be your number one.
Oh, wait. You've never watched it? It's about 2 cowboys
I know what
who are gay.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never seen
I
it.
know what it's about.
Is that a real movie? Yeah. I thought that was like an adult
can't-
film.
Pat, I can't quit you.
Is that legitimately your number 3?
No.
Okay. I hear it's an excellent movie.
Oh, I
do.
got one. I got my Jake Gyllenhaal. Spider-Man.
So what is your number 3?
Spider-Man.
Not your number 3.
I'm
His
interrupted
number 3.
because he's gonna take it, and I don't
He's telling you anyways.
I don't know.
Southpaw.
Spider-Man.
Southpaw.
Fuck off. He's just looking out of the way.
Oh, fuck. Good call. I would have forgot about it somehow.
This little boxing ring set up here.
He loves the camera. You're my favorite camera guy. All right. So, all right. You
I
looked it
got
up.
one from Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't like him.
Okay,
like
so
him.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
You don't like Southpaw?
I've never watched it.
Oh, God, you should watch that one. You should watch that one. You don't like him to watch just because it's too sad.
It's so sad.
It is sad, but it's awesome. But you should watch Southpaw.
I don't want to watch it right now.
Southpaw's actually kind of sad, but then uplifting. All right.
I think I've only seen one Jake Gyllenhaal
Movie?
So,
End of
not-
Watch?
Not Southpaw. End of Watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. No, I mean,
We really fucked
It was okay. It was
no, I mean,
well, you started with favorite movie, TV series, then we went to
sad.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
We're actually,
That's very specific.
we're actually still going to hit those, so think about that for a second.
I got
we're still
mine.
gonna hit
I'll go
those.
to you.
I already
Hold on,
have- already
I
have
got to
mine.
hit mine. I got to hit mine. So mine is End of Watch, and then I'm actually going to go Southpaw. And then even though I say I will never watch it again, everybody should see this movie at least once or twice. It is going to be Requiem for a Dream. It is very disturbing. You would hate it because it's very sad.
I don't like that.
But it is. It's a drug addiction movie, but it is so incredibly well done. Cinematic masterpiece, but it is a shit show. And I've said it on the podcast before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. It was a nightmare for me because I rented it when I was in high school from Blockbuster. You guys,
Blockbuster.
yeah, you guys probably never even experienced
No,
Blockbuster.
I
huh?
have.
We
I
have.
Okay.
Not, I mean, not
What's
in the
it?
sense
Hollywood
that you guys
Video.
have.
Okay.
In Wintersville.
But so I went through there, and at the time I was in high school. I was a pothead partier, and I was like, I want to get a funny movie, and it had Marlon Wayans on the cover with a blunt in his mouth. So I was like, perfect.
Sold.
Obviously a comedy,
of course.
you know what I mean? And then I get it, and it's this horrific movie about drug addiction. And I quit drinking, smoking weed, everything.
So that was the best
for
thing
like,
that could happen for
Yeah,
you.
that was
for like
probably
6
good.
or 7 months, and I've never been more stressed out in my life. So it was the worst thing that ever happened. 'Cause my stress was through the roof.
Worst and the best. Worst and the best.
You weren't drinking
say.
bourbon at the time.
I was
so
not
that's-
drinking bourbon at the time. I was
that's
drinking
why.
shit. I was
Yeah,
drinking
that's
swill.
why.
You were
I was
fine.
in that trough in the corner. Jacob,
The $10 trough.
I got to know what yours are.
Have you seen Prisoners?
No.
Yes.
With Hugh
Really
Jack-
good.
Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was
Very good.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler should have been up there for me.
Prisoners, And then maybe Demolition.
Prisoners, is that the one where they found the kid underneath the ground, like
Yeah.
underneath the car?
It's with Hugh. Yeah.
That was actually really good. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Very
Hugh
good.
Jackman's
Very
daughter
good.
is missing.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman's. Jacob was saying I'm so we need to figure out a
So,
5 mic
so
situation.
Jacob, not the others with Nicole Kidman?
Hey guys, can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat has a bottle of the Russells. Steve, you want to explain it? You know better than I do.
Which one?
It's the barrel
Russells
pick.
Oh,
Ohio.
yeah. Okay, so Russell's.
Well, actually, explain what barrel pick is first.
Okay, sure. Barrel pick. So Ohio, and I don't know if this goes for every state. You may know better.
I don't know if it's every state, but Ohio Liquor Board does do barrel picks.
Yeah. So barrel picks, they pick barrels specifically for the state, which in this case would be Ohio, and it is 10-year Russells, which is Wild Turkey.
Okay, so there's info on the back.
Yeah. So,
Oh, so Russell's is a Wild Turkey product?
yes, it is.
Okay.
So Bill Russell. No, I'm just kidding. Bill Russell.
He got a lot of rings, though.
William Russell.
Bill Russell got a lot of rings, though. All right, so Eddie Russell
Yeah.
is who was checked by.
Yep.
Jimmy Russell is who was approved by. Man, it even has the floor of the warehouse it was on. It was
I
on,
believe I
Which
looked
is
it
very
up. I think
cool.
there was only 2 barrels. Does that sound right?
Is that real? That it could be. That's crazy if there's only 2 barrels.
I
That makes
wanna
it very
say-
rare.
Extremely.
I don't
rare.
know if that's true, but I thought I looked it up and
Price
it
was low too.
What was the MSRP?
It was
55.
55.
Ooh.
Yeah, not bad.
Where'd you
And
get
I
it?
know, so I went to the Steubenville.
It was
Kroger's.
in Steubenville?
So
Yeah.
I guess people were driving from Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, just to come and get this bottle.
Man, I believe that. I haven't tried enough of the Russell Reserve.
I have not either, and I tried this last night. And
It hits 110 proof. I haven't tasted it yet, so I can't talk to the taste profile, but I'm excited to try it. I'm finishing off this Knob Creek. But so we interrupted Steve after demanding that he told us about it. But so the barrel picks, basically the Ohio Liquor Board goes and they taste barrels at these different distilleries. Somebody from the Ohio Liquor Board, I don't know who the fuck it is, but they go and they taste them, and then they pick certain barrels, and now that barrel is specifically for Ohio.
how good would it be
Yeah.
to have that job? To go taste that and
Jesus
just say,
Christ.
this is Ohio.
I'm hoping to do that for Garden Grill one day. Like, hey, Garden Grill, we now get our own barrels, and
This is us.
I get-
We'd like this
I
here.
get to go taste them, which I will also take Steve with me for. And then,
I appreciate that.
and actually, we should throw out there that the Maker's Mark tasting we're going to do next after this is
Yes.
also an Ohio barrel pick. Well, actually, there was 5 Ohio barrel picks
Yeah.
for that Maker's Mark
Can
selection.
you save some for me?
Oh, you can try them whenever you want, brother. I got plenty of it over there. As you can see right around the TV.
It looks good right there. You got a nice
So-
spot for him.
And the beauty of that tasting is we're also going to do regular Maker's Mark
Yes.
and 46,
And I
which
got-
we should do.
Yeah.
So and we'll profile it up.
Yeah, and I got the cask strength on the way as well.
Beautiful.
I'm spending more bourbon than I have. I'm spending more money on bourbon than I have. So I'm going to figure that out.
You know, during the quarantine, it's easy to do.
well, I'm going to start robbing people.
You'll
is what I
figure it
figure.
out. Don't worry. You'll figure it out.
But
Just
so
call Pat. Pat
I-
will make money for you. He's the smart one over
yeah,
here.
yeah, he's a smart guy. He's got it. He can at least figure out the math for me.
I can bullshit my way into anything, so
Perfect.
don't worry about that. Or out of anything. So
I think we're going to have to get out of this one. So,
fair enough.
but walk out with the bourbon still.
We'll work something out.
All right, so I just do want to get that last. You had yours picked. The the thing you would recommend, movie or show.
My favorite movie and show is Entourage. I mean, movie, show, it doesn't matter.
Spectacular.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat it. It's the
Actually,
best.
I can't believe we've never brought that up. Everybody should
Vinny
watch
Chase.
that. It's basically what we're hoping happens with Bastards of
I
Bourbon
mean-
is that we get famous enough that we can all just hang out and drink bourbon all day.
Who doesn't want to be Ari Gold?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to be him?
Yeah, who doesn't want to be that smart and be able to
That's a
get
good
away
point.
with being that much of an asshole and people still love you?
Exactly. And I'll leave it at that because that's, I mean, you
Good-looking
can't beat it.
girls.
That's it.
Right?
Women everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
Goodfellas.
oh my God, this dude is an old soul. He's also an old soul, but this dude, Goodfellas.
So the older soul.
Goodfellas is exceptional.
Yeah.
I can't
It is.
explain it any other way.
The
Exceptional.
one-word answers.
It is exceptional. My only anger from it comes from the stupidity that people, and it hits me with every mob movie almost, the stupidity that they end up falling into that wrecks what they're doing. Like him, like honestly, even though he was already out of control, when you saw the helicopters flying over and you're like, no, I think there are helicopters flying us. Well, you've seen them all fucking day.
Well,
yeah,
you know what?
They're following you.
I have something
So fucking knock it off.
to add to that scene. During his cocaine days, I guess you could say.
His cocaine down spiral.
His cocaine down spiral. Scorsese directed that as if you were on cocaine. He wanted you to feel as if you were
Okay.
high off of the drug, possibly delusional or
Oh. Panicked.
just
Like paranoid.
panic. Yeah,
Yeah, paranoid.
Exceptionally paranoid. But I thought that was expertly done.
I would agree with that. It really did. It was frantic. That's the best way to describe
Because
it, I think.
I was watching it the first few times I've watched it. I was nervous for Henry
Right.
when he was driving around or doing whatever he was doing, his daily errands.
Yeah, and I love that aspect of movies where they make you feel very uncomfortable. It means that they nailed it.
They're doing it right.
Yeah, I agree.
They're doing it right.
All right, so we are going to wrap this up. I want to say I really, really enjoyed this. You guys, I also want to laugh at you a little bit because you're whispering to each other like the camera can't see you.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, there's a camera right there.
Like everybody knows. But I really enjoyed this. Steve, thank you.
Whoa, he called you Jeff.
There's been too much
what.
bourbon.
Wow.
There's been too much bourbon.
I don't know. I'm
Easy,
feeling a
easy,
little.
easy.
But thank you for suggesting them because I think this is excellent. I think this went really well. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on. Is there anything you guys want to say before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you for having us.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I was listening to it from the beginning, and it was awesome just to hear my friends from back home bullshit and talk about bourbon. My two favorite things to do, bullshit and talk about bourbon. So
perfect.
I feel honored to be on the podcast, and thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And you are both obviously going to be welcome back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we need to. I mean, we're going to have them back.
We got the younger
We're
audience.
gonna have them
we'll
back.
Try to,
And I'm sorry, Dave. I'm going to say right now, I think I hit a home run here.
You nailed it. We'll see if my suggestion ends up being as good. The next guest after Steve and after Jeff, and I'm mixing it all up. After Jeff and I need more bourbon in my life, obviously. So after Jeff and Tommy for the next episode with the Maker's Mark, we're going to have BJ, and I'm going to talk to you about this. We'll pick another guest, or maybe we'll let him pick his guest of choice to join him.
Tricky.
But
Could be tricky.
But you were on. We were already on board with BJ. You were already on board with BJ being a guest as well. But I hope it works out as well. And
like Manny said, extremely happy to be here. Honored to be here. This is really a nice event you put on for us. I think that I think that this has great potential to go forward.
well, I
really
appreciate
do.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so too, Pat. I agree.
Yeah.
We
I mean, we hope so.
we hope what a retirement job it would be, huh?
Well, I just mean like
it comes natural to you two.
yeah,
It's easy.
It really does. It really does. I mean, it shows. You two can converse for several
Bullshit
hours,
with the best of us.
obviously. But I mean, I think it's nice.
Well, I
Very fun, enjoyable.
I really appreciate that. And I would say, for me, quarantine could not have happened at a better time because during that time was the first time I got to do a podcast with Steve. And we had so much fun, and it flowed so naturally that Steve ended up doing quite a few back-to-back. And it turned into the Bastards of Bourbon.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough for being willing to come on because for a lot of people, it's a nerve-wracking situation at first, and you came on and you let loose, and we had a great time. And now we're going to keep it rolling with the Bastards of Bourbon.
That's right, brother.
Bastards of Bourbon, self-destructing individuals.
Good way to end
I
it.
love
Bastards of Bourbon.
Outstanding.
Bastards of Bourbon. Cut it. All right, thank you guys. We love you. Bye.
Wonderful.